Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast, and today's going to be a very fun episode. We're talking Winds and Waves, Pokemon Champions, in this next era of Pokemon battling specifically. We've kind of been holding off on having this conversation, but today, there's no better time than right now. My name is DustyGogoat. Today I'm joined by TraderLumi.
Hello.
SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
And returning guest and friend, Charlie Merriman. I was going to say Charlie by name. Married by nature? What is your tagline?
Married by name, married by name.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I almost got it. I almost got it.
But yeah, I guess I am Charlie by name, and Charlie is
that is true. Yeah.
Sounds kind of merry, I guess. Yeah.
I'm Liam by name. I'm Dusty by name. Yeah. I love it.
Maybe have a shower then.
Yeah, dude. I'm so. Yeah, I think so. And that's our show. And I'm gonna go to the bathroom and shower up because I'm filthy. Yeah. Listen. There's like I feel like we've exhausted the initial hype and speculation when it comes to Winds and Waves. The initial speculation. But Champions is still here, and I would like today to go through all of the information that we got for Champions. There is some information starting to be revealed about this. There's new tournaments popping up across the world. There's some controversies bubbling up. I think there's just like a lot of confusion amongst the fandom, and I'd like to kind of get to the bottom of it, and also just have the dialogue, have the conversation. Actually, one second.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you right now that I will not be able to get to the bottom of it. Because
sure, yeah.
As much as you guys. But tease out some things. And if you don't know me, by the way, everybody, I am a host and commentator for the Pokemon Company International. So
yes,
you'll see me casting at some of the VGC events across the globe. I was at the World Championships last summer in Anaheim, which was a very special thing. And I go by Chizinga online as well.
Yeah, that was thank you for doing my job for me. That was good. But yeah, I think all year since Champs has been announced, I feel like there is this. I feel like the Pokemon Company is positioning Champions as like they're telling us what they want that game to be and what they want that game to mean and to function as to players. But as information is slowly starting to come out, I'm starting to feel tension between that message and what it actually might really be. And we don't know. Gen 10's still like a year away. So I just think there's a lot of questions in the air. But yeah, you know what? Let's take a chill pill. I would love to get your impressions on Generation 10, that announcement. You said offline you're not playing Pokopia. I don't know if you're playing Fire Red and Leaf Green, but I was playing a lot of that. I'm having a lot of fun with that. What are you enjoying right now when it comes to Pokemon?
Right. So, all sorts of things on that front. And it's kind of, as I'm sure you guys can appreciate, what can happen when you are doing content creation. Because I came into this year thinking, I've got a great idea for a series for Pokemon's 30th anniversary year. I'm going to play through each generation in order and catch all the Pokemon that are feasible to catch, i.e. beyond event distributions and whatever, on stream, and then make a video out of each generation. And then a week before Pokemon Day, Pokemon announces Fire Red Leaf Green coming for the Switch. And I'm like, oh, well, I've already started playing Pokemon Blue, my childhood copy, on stream. Do I now really just play that game again, albeit a remastered one, on the Switch? So I decided to hold out from Fire Red Leaf Green. In terms of Pokopia, I've never really got into simulation games, which is very much what Pokopia was marketed as.
Right.
The more I hear about it, though, the more I hear that maybe it's not quite that, and there's more going on beneath the surface. Either way, I'm more and more tempted to get Pokopia, let's put it that way. But for now, I don't mind not playing it, because also, coming into this year, I realized I just really love the retro games fundamentally. When it comes to making videos and content and streaming, I'm all about those retro childhood nostalgia memories. So I'm not playing either of those, which is an interesting time. Normally I'm right on it, like I was with Legends EA, but I highly support Fire Red Leaf Green coming to the Switch. I mean, I just said
it's so good.
Retro games, and the fact that Deoxys and Lugia and Ho-Oh are now available as well. And I look forward to playing them at some point. But I am lucky enough to still have my Leaf Green and Fire Red cartridges from back in the day. So, you know, I will always enjoy that original cartridge experience, but I'm delighted that people are enjoying Fire Red Leaf Green. And especially doing a lot of shiny hunting on there as well, which I'm increasingly leaning into.
Have you done any shiny hunting on Fire Red and Leaf Green? I have yet to, but I think I'm going to try to do some. I think there is some really fun, easy hunts around the game corner.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm not playing Fire Elite.
You're just
on
not
the Switch
playing it
as
yet.
of
Okay.
I'm sort of maybe saving it for another occasion. Also, we've got Pokemon XD coming out this month.
Oh my
at some
gosh.
point, which
There really
I
is a lot of
very much look
games.
forward to playing.
True.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I've never played XD or Colosseum, so I really look forward to that. Yeah, so on the Switch version, no, I haven't, but I have done Safari Week the past couple of years where you're signing up for Pokemon in the Safari Zone where they can run away. And yes, I've had some heartbreak. In fact, mainly just heartbreak. Doing that.
It's been really nice to see people play Fire Red and Leaf Green for the first time or even just in a long time. And it's also, I've been enjoying my playthrough of Leaf Green. It's nice and slow. It's cozy. It also, it is reminding me how well these older games hold up. Sometimes I think I forget or I'm just like the lines are blurred. Sometimes I'm like, do I appreciate these games because of nostalgia or because they're actually good? And playing them on my Switch, I'm like, no, these are still really, really good games. And it seems like a lot of other people are starting to recognize that, which is nice. Want to give a big shout out to the Pokegod in the chat who became a tier. He joined the Hidden Power universe. He became a member, and then upgraded to the mythical tier.
Wow.
So huge shout out to you, the real Pokegod.
Amazing, thank you.
We'll be shouting you out as one of our producers on the next full episode of Hidden Power. Thank you so much,
man.
Okay, well, what about Winds and Waves? Sure, I know you're not playing Winds and
Are
Waves.
you playing Winds and Waves? He's playing it. He's playing it without us.
I've felt the momentum. The wind is very much in myself.
Yeah.
So, Winds and Waves, I'm very excited for. I think the first thing to say, when I hear Winds and Waves, the first thing to talk about is what starter are you thinking of? For me, I'm Team Brout. I'm a Brout believer.
Ooh,
Nice. Very
you're
nice.
a brat. You're a Brout.
Yeah.
Brout rat.
Exactly. I am on that Charlie XCX Pokemon hype train.
Dude, and your name is Charlie. Oh my god.
It's true.
Oh my god, dude.
I don't know why. To be honest, I think that selection of 3 is the strongest we've had in a long time.
I think so too.
In my opinion, anyway. Whereas when they announced Fuecoco, Sprigatito, Quaxley, Scarlet, and Violet, immediately I was just like, oh, Fuecoco, I love it. These 3, I didn't know what to think initially. I sort of had to let the dust settle. I think they're all a fantastic design. Can I ask you 3, what's your choice?
Do we know?
I will say that I am exactly where you were at the beginning. I mean, you probably didn't watch our reaction, but like, it's crazy to me because I don't usually like all 3, like ever, but I like all 3 of them.
So
and
it's
I
not
could
a starter guy.
No, and I could pick all 3 of them. Like I right now would be like, I don't care, whatever. It depends what they evolve into, and I'm always like that type of person that is like, I'm gonna wait to see what they evolve into. But at face value, I'm between Gekwa and Brout for like very much back and forth. Like one day it's Gekwa, one day it's Brout. I probably will go Gekwa just because of reptiles. I like reptiles a lot, so that's kind of the evolution will probably end up making me pick it. So
Okay.
I'm landing on Brout. That's where I'm at.
Brout as well. Okay. I tend to go for the your Brout as well. Okay.
I think I'm leaning there. I'm kind of like
We
Soul,
just
Brout,
bubbled
and
up.
Gekwa, but I'm leaning Brout right now.
Okay.
he was seemingly the weakest one, but then he grows on you incredibly. I
He
love
really does.
the design, and it's
It's
simple.
interesting because it seems like the general consensus is Pombon is the most popular.
Right.
So it's really interesting to hear that. And I tend to go with, like, historically, I think it's kind of been fairly even in recent years, but historically I've tended to go for the water starter. But now it's just like what jumps out at me, and this time it was Brout.
Brout looked so weird in 3D. I feel like Brout with the giant eyes. Well, I say giant eyes, but Gekwa also has giant eyes.
Even bigger.
Geckos are
I don't
bigger.
know what it was about Brout. It just didn't. It looked kind of like weird. It didn't feel like a real Pokemon. And then over time,
Well, I think that's how all new Pokemon are, you know? Like,
Yeah,
when
but
the
Brout
first time you see
especially.
them, there's this moment. I was literally telling Soul just before we began, I'm still having trouble acknowledging that Mega Darkrai is real just because it's, like, so otherworldly for a Pokemon design, I feel
It
like.
is bizarre.
Yeah.
Dude, we haven't even talked
I
about
really
Legend
like
ZA with you.
Yeah,
we
no,
meant to
it's
have you
true.
on for
Yeah.
ZA. Okay.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
We're going to have to have you on again later. Yeah.
Yeah, sure it'll come out over the course of the discussion, but I enjoyed ZA. I was also casting some ZA. I sort of made some content around what would it be like to commentate over the
Yeah, that was
sport,
good.
which was
I
a
saw
lot
that,
of fun.
yeah.
And I enjoyed the real-time battle system. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get into that later. What I will say, though, about ZA is that the DLC became a bit of a grind, and then the post-game, for me, just became too much of a grind. I haven't touched the post-game of the DLC still, because
Yeah.
I
just
haven't
found it
either.
a bit repetitive doing the making the donuts, going in, you have a time limit and so on. I just seem to remember that for Legends Arceus, the gameplay tasks were so much more diverse, and so I was fully invested in that. But for ZA, unfortunately, maybe one day I'll go back to it and having appreciated the break, but for now, that's where I left it. But it was a cool new battle system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it really was, and I guess we could talk about that a little bit as we speculate on what Gen 10, what that battle system could look like a little bit later. But is there? Man, the chat is just blowing up with the chat is just having a great time right now with this conversation. Hydrapple Hal, hope you're having a great day. He says, listen, guys, Gekwa is so perfect, like literally obsessed with her. Really hoping they go the Primarina route with Final Evolution design. Honestly, we just did offline, you'll see that next week, starter Pokemon tier list, and there's a lot of good ones.
We kind of dug into Primarina a little bit.
I think we got pretty positive about Primarina.
Yeah, we were pretty positive on Primarina. I think it landed pretty high.
D Sampy has been a member for his entire life, 19 months. Says I've never seen, just like such a long time. Says I've never seen a single Pokemon bring more memes to the community than Brout alone. My dude changed everybody's mind. And I think that's what happened. I really think that's what happened.
It really is.
Gen Renegade gifting 5 members. Thank you so much, man. And shout out to everyone who just received their membership. Get into the Discord. We have a brand new episode exclusive for members on Patreon and on YouTube. That's live right now. You can watch that. We put that out on Monday. It's exclusive to members. And then Gen Renegade also with, I guess, two $5 super chats says, hello, goodbye. Sorry, you guys. I got the fun responsibility of taking my nephew to Six Flags today. Don't forget, I think it's a real possibility we see new battle forms this gen, like triple and rotation from Gen 5. Nice to see you, Lumi, Soul Dusty. Thanks for visiting Chazindra. I'll listen later. Thank you guys for all the support.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you for the support.
Oh, and then,
I like that idea. New battle format. I mean, honestly, new battle formats is fine. I'd be happy with them just bringing back triple and rotation. I thought those were a lot of fun.
That would be kind of nice. What do you think about
triple, I remember quite fondly. Rotation, I actually remember on my copy of White when I was younger, like being 20 minutes deep into a rotation battle, and I hadn't neither of us, me or the opponent, knocked out any Pokemon.
You just keep spinning.
I was just like, I just reset the game. So rotation battles, if there was a way to, make it a little bit more concise, maybe. Yeah. But then again, I haven't done a rotation battle for a long time, so maybe. Yeah.
And then Gen Renegade, one more super chat saying, sorry to spam, Gekwa is Bestua, enjoy, bye. Man, people are, I feel like the Gekwa stands are the loudest. They're trying to,
maybe.
They're trying to it is force the hand. Yeah.
It's a beautiful little lizard, I'd say.
It is, yeah. I think it's fun to speculate as well what the type combinations will be with the final evolution. I feel like Bonbon has to be our first Fire Fairy, ultimately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Surely. A lot of people definitely think that. I wonder.
Would that be?
It should be right. It'd be appropriate. It's a starter. It's a starter.
So.
It's like,
would it be a good? Would that be a good type? Fire Fairy. Would that be a good competitive type? I mean, I think I like the motif.
Type. So it's a combination that we don't have yet. With Fire Fairy, you'd be weak to ground, rock, and water, so your standard fire types.
Yeah.
Right. But then Fairy is weak to steel, but fire resists steel, so it'd have a neutrality to steel, and then poison would also be super effective. But offensive wise, I mean, you're covering a lot there. Obviously, you've got the dragons, you've got with the fire types that are often hard to deal with, like steel. It covers a lot offensively. Then you've got the grass and the bug as well. And I'd be excited to see. It'd be interesting if Pompon is the route they go with for that Fire Fairy.
Yeah.
And with Gekwa, someone made a comment in my stream the other day, which I hadn't even considered before, but those big purple eyes surely are hinting at a psychic type.
Yeah, that feels right. Yeah.
That and like the teardrop in the center of the head. I think it was Loxton point out that in a lot of I guess depictions in media or whatever, that's like the spot on the head that's associated with a third eye and stuff like that, psychic abilities.
Yeah, you've got Espeon's little Espeon Golduck.
Yeah, the gem.
Yeah, they all have that third eye. Yeah. I honestly, even when I look at its eyes, its eyes are also super glossy, like a crystal ball.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's communicating psychic powers.
I mean, even the artwork itself kind of gives that whole
exactly.
I'm looking at something.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's holding a crystal ball. You just can't see it.
It's true. Yeah. Just the way geckos move when they're running along walls. It's very fluid, very sort of, as you say, it's got that aura about it. But then
Sure.
that leaves Brout, and I mean, obviously the instinct is grass and flying, which compared to fire and fairy and water and psychic sucks. Let's
Right.
just put that on the table. I mean, you've got double weakness to ice. Grass famously has the most weaknesses out of fire, water, and grass. Flying, you've got rock and electric as well as the ice. But I've done a bit of looking into what Brout could possibly be based on. There's a I can't remember the exact name now because it was around Pokemon Day when I looked it up. But there is like a brow bird that seems to be native to Indonesia, which is speculatively where this region potentially is based on. But then some people have said like a Javan hawk eagle chick, I believe, which is a national bird of Indonesia. I
That's
think
kind of cool.
So it could be grass. I don't know, steel, or I don't think they do grass fighting again because we've had a Su into Decidueye. But I don't know. Grass flying compared to fire, fairy, and water psychic, it does leave something to be desired. But I don't know if you're evolving into a fully fledged bird.
Yeah.
How you would do anything other than grass?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's Pokemon that are birds that fly that don't have the flying type. I think it's possible for it to fly. It's just it depends on if flying is its whole gimmick, really. I think like like if it flies really fast, then it should be a flying type. Whereas
Something I
if it's just a bird, it can be a different type.
Yeah, the flying type is a lot of Pokemon like Pidgey, right? Their anatomy is of a flying type. They have wings, they can fly. But like there's also Pokemon that have the flying type because it kind of represents like the wind element. Right? And if Brout has physical attributes that more closely resemble grass and steel or, insert any type, then it doesn't need the flying typing. It could still even have like moves like Hurricane. It could.
Oh, it'll still pick up. You know that
Peck.
it'll get
It's gonna have Drill Peck or whatever.
Piplup has Drill Peck and
Wing
Peck.
Attack.
You have Blaziken can get Brave Bird. Something I've noticed, I don't know if you can quite say it's a pattern because there's only one Pokemon that does this. But if you look at all the bird starter Pokemon,
That's not a pattern.
you have Torchic, you have Piplup, you have Rowlet, and you have Quaxley. Those are the bird starters.
Yeah.
Only one of those Pokemon is grass flying, Rowlet, and he's the only one that actually ends up as a bird that can fly.
I would say that is a pattern.
All
But
the others end up as flightless birds.
Yeah. None of them have the flying type.
So it makes me
can
wonder,
fly.
since Brout is pure grass and they didn't make him grass flying, will he also end up as a flightless bird?
I think the pattern is that
one?
4 of them evolved to not have. Yeah, I guess it could go either way.
The chosen one, the
I think
grass
the really
flying
fascinating
one.
thing about the Rowlet line, though, is surely it's the only first partner Pokemon to totally change its secondary type. It becomes grass.
Yeah, it is.
So that could also happen. I'm
Yeah, the
looking at
only
Brout
starter.
here. Obviously, chicks will have small wings, but there's every world in which this Brout evolves into something where actually the wings aren't a massive part of its anatomy. And so
It could evolve into like a fire-breathing dragon for all we know.
Could be a chicken too, and chickens are like not great flyers, So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, dude, it's
it is the bean chick Pokemon,
It's got like I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on it's got really interesting feet. I love the steel type. Like this, they kind of look like metal barbs or like
Steel would be very. It'd be out of left field for me. I don't see steel, but anything's possible. Anything's possible. I just don't see it right now.
Because obviously they're leaning into the brow, the angry look. You could totally see that beak hardening into something steel, and it's sort of that hardness in its mood being reflected in its typing for sure. But I don't know.
Let's see. We got some more input by chat. P1 Polyrath says, for the first time since Sun and Moon, I'm actually loving all 3 starters, excited for Gen 10 and seeing where their starters end up. Thank you, P1 Polyrath, for all the support as a Box Legendary tier member. And then Sky Jordan says, with a super chat, the trailer showing catching but not battling is kind of sus. There might be some surprises on that front. Hoping for more battle recourses. Personally, and I think we can dive into that shortly. What battling is going to look like in Gen 10. Nathan Shorter says Gekwa will be my first water starter in select, or I'll select. That's a pretty big. That's
crazy. 9 generations and you haven't used a water starter.
It's a big personal journey you're about to embark on. Yeah, it's a life choice. You just. That's crazy. P1 Polyrath also says, what about what about a crazy idea? Grass normal type. Still, it could have skill link. What is it? Still link rock though, or skill rink.
I think he meant still like rock though. Like he still likes the rock typing for it at the end.
The rock would be fun.
Okay,
and there are a bunch of mountains behind it.
Grass and rock is a really good competitive type, actually. We don't have a couple of them. We've got like Cradilly, for example.
Yeah.
But yeah, it means that, for example, you're taking neutral from ground because you've got the rock and grass balancing each other out. You're taking neutral from water as well. Yeah. So defensively, it's a really good type. And I mean, it just goes showing Cradilly, which is just like an immovable object.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I would love to start talking about Gen 10 and speculating about taking a look at the trailer and then speculating what battles might look like in Generation 10, and we can talk about champions. Yeah. But first, a word from our sponsor. That sounds so corny, but we love them. We'll be right back. Give me a sec. We'll be right back. Pokemon is celebrating its 30th year anniversary this year, and new Pokemon games are very exciting. We love that. But the TCG, the trading card game, is going to be a big part of this year-long celebration. And that's why this episode is sponsored by Awesome CCG. I love these guys. I've been going to their New Hampshire location for so long. It is genuinely so hard to find cards sometimes, and I love Awesome CCG because they always have something. They stock both English and Japanese cards, which I love. This time of year, a lot of official Play Pokemon stores host events, and Awesome CCG is one of these locations. It's the perfect excuse to check out your local shop, pick up some cards, play the card game, meet other fans, right? Make some friends, celebrate 30 years of Pokemon. And if you're listening right now, you can head to the link in the description or the pinned comment, and at checkout, use code HIDDENPOWER. One word to get 5% off regularly priced merchandise. There's going to be a ton of events around Pokemon Day, so check out your local shop. If you're in New Hampshire or Massachusetts, let them know Hidden Power sent you. And everything that they have in store is also available on their website. So go check that out and get your 5% off. Thank you, Awesome CCG, for sponsoring Pokemon. All right, guys, let's talk about some Generation 10. I'm like obsessed with some of these camera angles, and I look away from this trailer, I look away from the Gen 10 gameplay, and then I look back and I go, holy cow, this is going to be a real Pokemon game that we're playing in 2027, which is, I guess, also another part of the conversation, that we got a whole year to go before. Okay, yeah, competitive will be on Champs. But Charlie, talk to me about this trailer. What stands out to you?
I think my initial reaction was similar to many of the Winds and Waves reaction videos that I've seen, where they show that art book and it flips open and you see a picture of Ecruteak City, and I was like, oh my god, Johto remakes.
Yeah.
Like a minute on the page and it's Hoenn, and I sort of calmed down. It's still really cool. What I would love for that to signify, I feel like it's probably just summarizing the journey we've been on with Pokemon up to now, but what I would love for it to signify is some kind of interconnectivity between all the regions that happens at some point in Winds and Waves, maybe after you beat the game. And I remember, actually, it was around this time last year that I was on Hidden Power Podcast first time and saying that, hopes for Gen 10, that we see those regions connected in some way. Who knows? But that was my initial thought. And then, so this cute Pikachu comes along, and then we meet, was it Mr. Windy Chew and Ms. Wavy Chew?
Yeah. That's my Memare and Pet Bear. I love these people. I love these Pikachus.
They look like shiny Pikachu as well.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
dude, they are
tan.
So
my theory, I
theory,
think it's just supposed to be tan, but a lot of people think they're these shinies.
No, they're not tan. They have been given the power. The legendary legendary Pokemon are going to be they've put their powers inside of these Pikachu. I'm convinced of that, because their eyes are different. Their eyes are not Pikachu's eyes.
True.
Mm-hmm. There's something going on with
Miss
them.
Wavy Chew's cheeks are pink.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. These aren't just cosplay Pikachus. They are not Pikachu. It's not Pikachu. It's a new form of Pikachu. That's okay. I'm sticking by that.
No, you're right. I've seen some online discourse as well about maybe these are the professors in their respective games.
Right.
Who knows?
It's AI Pikachu.
Oh no.
Yeah, maybe,
Sada and Turon.
Yeah, dude. Whatever they're on screen. But yeah, so I don't really have exactly. Yeah. I don't really have further thoughts on Windy Chew and Wavy Chew, to be honest with you. But yeah, great. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, we got to see more. I think they've shown us Windy Chew and Wavy Chew for a reason, and that's why I'm like, we got to dig in. It's gonna mean something. If not legendary Pokemon, there's a lot of really fun speculation about possibly this game. Right, if it takes place in Indonesia or somewhere in Southeast Asia, there is the Wallace line that a lot of fans have been talking about. This idea that there's going to be like major, what would it be called? Like major, I guess, like ecological habitats forming on both sides of this line, even though they're like right next to each other. Everything on either side of the line is like so biodiverse, and so maybe there's two different Pikachu, indicating that like anything can change and get a radically new regional form depending on what side of the line it's on. That's some speculation I've seen. But I think
for those
the legendary
who aren't
sounds
familiar
good.
with the term, the Wallace's line is a line that runs right through like real world Indonesia. And on one side of the line, there's like crazy different life than there is on the other side of the line. And they don't cross over. And the reason they don't cross over, like they could cross over, but the reason they don't is because each one's ecological niche is being fulfilled by something else on the other side of that line. So it's like this weird phenomenon where just the animals and plants too are radically different on the opposite sides of that line, but they never cross over, even though they're so.
Oh, he broke up.
We lost him.
They're so what? They're so what, Lumi? Lumi, they're so what?
What are they?
We'll never know. They're so what? So
that is fascinating, though.
Yeah. There's been a lot of speculation about this the last couple. I think Loxton was on our show a couple months ago, and he brought that up, and it's kind of blown my mind. Yeah.
It just it goes in line with a lot of stuff that the Pokemon, well, I guess Game Freak does, because it's like, it's very different biomes and different ecological environments. So yeah, it's fun. They could make all kinds of different forms on one side or the other side, and obviously it doesn't have to be a one-to-one of this.
Yeah, they could bend it to be whatever it needs to be.
Yeah, the concept is there.
I think what's also really cool about this, like the first thing that I thought about when I was shown this concept, was that like there really aren't any regional forms in Generation 9. I think we have Wooper, which evolves into a completely new Pokemon, and then you have the Tauros, which are like, three of the same. It's just Tauros. Where the last two generations, I feel like we've had 50 regional forms out of all of them, right? Yeah. And that gap of that gap of what will be 5 years of no new regional forms kind of signals to me this would be a great opportunity to introduce a ton of new regional forms. It's like it's like the supply and the demand, right? It's like they didn't give us regional forms for so long, so if they announced the regional forms, it'd be pretty exciting to just get a plethora of regional forms, and in this new way.
10 more Tauros.
Something I want to really
East Tauros, West Tauros.
Is when we see Ledibur and Ledian in the trailer.
Dude, yes.
We haven't had them for so long. That's probably my second favorite Pokemon. My favorite is Kingdra, hence Chazingdra. But I just feel like part of the reason for that is just it's so underrated, and it's I always support the underdog. It's hardly the strongest Pokemon. There it is. Yeah. Especially because Kitakami, Teal Mars, we have Spinarak, but not Ledibur. The Pokemon Silver counterpart of that bug Pokemon. ZA, we have Spinarak, but not Ledibur.
Yeah, you're right.
That has been so hard done by the past couple of games. But now it's finally back. And to be honest, I'm anticipating at least a Mega Evolution for Ledian, if not a permanent evolution.
Yeah.
I would guess.
I hope.
Yeah.
When
we first reacted to this was one of the main things that I was just like, it's Ledian, he's there. I was just, it's so weird because it hit me hard, because you're right, it hasn't been in a game in a while. And that's kind
last one was Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl.
Yeah.
So last Game Freak game was Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Is that right?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it was in Sword and Shield.
Wow. Yeah. That's why, because it really hit me. I was like, look, it's Letty, and I can't believe it. And I'm like, why would I think that? Other than, I mean, I love it, but yeah, I could see it getting an evolution here as well. I'm cooking up some stuff about it, but essentially, there's a lot of different ladybugs or ladybirds, however you want to call them, in this area of the world. So
that's interesting. Okay, a regional form, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the regional form, it would have to be a regional evolution. That's the only thing. When I saw this, you know what I was actually thinking is, okay, I'll just go with it. There's like some kind of ladybug that is underwater in this region, but it's not actually a ladybug. So it's not actually a ladybug, but it looks like a ladybug. And I'm like, could you be a convergent Ledian happening right now?
That's super
I'm
fun.
really thinking there's something like that going on. Yeah. But the thing is, with this trailer, it shows you them, and you're like, I'm excited. I was so excited, but then I was like, that means you're not getting a regional form because you're there. But in evolution.
I mean, cool, that makes sense. It's also in Paldea, for example, you're riding around and you keep coming across these Dunsparce and these Mankeys, and it got to a point where I was like, shall I just catch one? Is this the game telling me to catch one? Is there like a new evolution or something? And so I feel like maybe revealing Ledbetter in the trailer is also, I don't know, teeing that up for that reason.
Right. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Yeah.
I feel that way about what you're saying, but with Tropius, because that's the first like Pokemon that they show in game is Tropius and Gloom. And like they fit the region so well because bananas are from, again, we're all speculating it's maybe Indonesia, and bananas are from there, and also that plant that Vileplume is based off of is from there, the Rafflesia, something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's usually a corpse flower is what it's called.
Corpse flowers, yeah, the other word for it.
For the layman. But yeah.
Obviously, a massive thing is it seems like we can dive again in this game, which is so exciting.
It's not being talked about enough, I don't think, that we can dive again.
Yeah, I mean, I love diving in Gen 3, but obviously with Switch 2 graphics, diving is going to be a whole new world. I mean, quite literally. And it just, if this is how lush and how varied it looks above ground, just think underground, all the underground caves and the... I'd love to see some sort of, there's that crazy statistic about how like the species that we've discovered in the world today is only a few percent, and most of them we'll never discover because they live deep, deep, deep in the ocean in trenches, and humans can never get there, etc. The mind boggles as to what Pokemon they could come up with just these sort of alien-looking submarine creatures.
Yeah, that's a really that is kind of fun to think about. It also makes me think, right? We don't know this, but if we do know we can go underwater. And I'm also, I guess, because the games are called Winds and Waves and there's so many shots in this trailer, this trailer to me implies that we can also travel in the sky. It doesn't show us that deliberately, but I think it is hinting at that. And those are two brand new biomes for traversal. Would that also be two new biomes that we could then have Pokemon battles in? And I guess that also, like, following that train of thought...
battles.
Yeah, but following that train of thought, what are these battles going to look like in Generation 10? Are we going to still have a turn-based system? Is it going to incorporate some elements of the real-time action combat of ZA? Could it be kind of a blend? What are you thinking about this, Charlie? When we talk about Gen 10.
And this kind of sort of ties into some of the marketing they've been doing for Champions, because they really insist... In Champions, you will experience the Pokemon battles we're all familiar with, featuring things like abilities and items and so on. To the point where it makes me question, does that mean that Champions is now going to be the home of that, and we'll be having a ZA battle style in Winds and Waves? I personally, as fun as the ZA battle style was, fundamentally, I am just a diehard Pokemon fan and have been since childhood, and so I wouldn't want them to pivot away from the battle style that we know and love for Winds and Waves. It'd be cool.
I mean, you're also a VGC caster. So I imagine that has to make you like those battles a little more too.
But I did have fun playing the ZA battle system. It's just like, I don't know, it's just a case of if it's not broke, don't fix it. And even though, I think
it's a little broken game, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think it's not the great. Sorry, keep going.
No, I was going to say, if anything, Pokemon Go maybe is the truest representation of how a Pokemon battle would actually feel. It's real time, whereas Pokemon battles in the universe are more like chess, which it maybe isn't the most realistic. But it is just what everyone associates with Pokemon now. And,
Yeah, that is true.
what would be cool is, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the case actually, to cater to both, you have both battle systems within Winds and Waves. You do the traditional Pokemon battle style to get through the game, to get through the main story, but then there are like facilities where you can do ZA style battles or
That'd be
what
awesome.
have you.
Yeah,
I mean, having said that though, sorry, you've got me
keep going.
Keep going.
Having said that, more and more at our competitive Pokemon events, it's all about building Pokemon up to be an esport in the traditional style. And obviously, the way the ZA battles work is far more in line with that than the way traditional Pokemon battles work. But then again, you have Unite that caters for that side of things. So, it's the mind boggles. And in terms of underwater battles versus sky battles, that's an interesting one as well. Off the top of my head, maybe if they were to go down that route, sky battles, there's there's the move Tailwind in Pokemon, so maybe there'll be something to do with that, but just at all times, and the battles are faster. It's almost like the Arceus strong style, agile style. And then underwater, obviously things are going to move more slowly. I mean, as it's Pokemon, I guess you can use fire moves underwater, but obviously that wouldn't actually be the case. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to figure out, and this is interesting because I'm remembering this right now. Like a lot of what I'm interested in is Pokemon battles. I'm interested in talking about these Pokemon battles in the context of the video game, where I feel like a lot, like what I'm realizing right now, and I don't think about this maybe enough, is that people enjoy Pokemon battles outside of the game, but more as that type of esport, where it's like you're isolating the battles as a form of competition, again, outside of the world of whatever game you're playing. And I think the conversation, or I guess what I'm mostly concerned with is like, how do you make these Pokemon battles actually feel fun? I think that's what I'm trying to figure out in a modern Pokemon game. Because when ZA came out, as much controversy as there was on either side, that game was super contentious. I feel like what I heard quite often about ZA, the realization I heard after the game came out and after people were able to play it, was that they were like, yeah, there was never a time that I was bored. I'm having fun battling everyone, even if it's youngster Joey. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. I'm having fun battling. In-game is what I'm saying, right?
I mean...
Yeah.
And so when I'm talking about, like, dive battles or sky battles or battles on the waves, I guess what I'm thinking about is, like, does it make sense to expect traditional turn-based battles when we have there's a volcano, we have all these environments, and I feel like a natural progression of Pokemon battles would be your battles are influenced by the environments you're in, and that could still mean that we're stuck with turn-based battles, but I just think there's an opportunity.
I don't like that verbiage.
You say stuck with like it's bad, but it's not.
It is. I honestly think it is. It's like it's so painful for me. It's so painful to play through Scarlet and Violet. I avoided every battle.
They revealed it. This doesn't really tell us what battle style it is, but I think it maybe gives us a clue. They revealed the starters' abilities. It's the typical starters' abilities: Blaze, Torrent, Overgrow. And the interesting thing about that is for the Legend ZA Mega Evolutions, as they revealed them, and even when they announced the starter Pokemon for Legend ZA, Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile, they on the official site where they had their information, there was nothing about abilities. They never revealed any abilities for the Mega Evolutions because that was not a part of the battles in Legend ZA. That wasn't a part of the gameplay. There are no abilities in that game. So the fact that they're giving us the abilities for these starters makes me think abilities are in play. Now, you could say, flip side is, a lot of those abilities could be worked into the Legend ZA battle styles, and that I would think, since they're always looking to expand on the battle styles and change them up by adding new gimmicks, by adding new moves and stuff, the next natural step I feel like for Legend ZA type battles would be to incorporate abilities into those battles. So maybe they're still doing that, but I just think it's interesting that the abilities are out there.
Yeah, that's a good detail.
Abilities are in.
I don't think the solution is ZA battles in Gen 10. For the record, I've never that's not what I'm saying. It would be a new system.
So I think the more I think about this, the more you try and incorporate abilities to ZA battles, I think it would just be too messy. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
the battles themselves are 3 minutes, and it's as many knockouts as you can claim in that time. If on top of the carnage that's ensuing around you of just moves coming from left, right, and center, you factor in, for example, raw skin on Garchomp, and you attack and you receive a little bit of HP chip. I think especially for younger players, it's like, well, I legitimately do not understand why I fainted there. Like, I touched that Garchomp,
Sure.
Yeah.
fainted, but I wasn't hit by any incoming move.
Absolutely.
I don't know. So unless they were to extend that length to, I don't know, double 6-minute battles, maybe, but even then it seems a little bit too full on. But I do think that in Gen 10 there'll be some facility for enjoying the ZA battle style, because I think it was overall too popular. It's interesting talking about this because I was at the Europe International Championships a month ago now, and I met in person for the first time Lawkeeper Toby, who
Cool.
I know you've had on the show many times,
Yeah,
and
good
a
friend.
fellow UK-based creator, and so it was wonderful to meet in person for the first time. And we had many long chats, as you can imagine, just like you do on the show. But he was saying, he was on the same page as you, Dusty. He was saying, I just feel like the traditional battle system is just not what people want. And, it comes back to that question of how far is nostalgia coming into play here. It would be really fascinating to do a survey of everyone, people of all ages who play Pokemon, and see what kind of battle style they prefer. So yeah, it can be interesting to see where that divide line.
Yeah, and I think another I guess data point, like something else that I just think something that is important to bring up in this conversation is like, I think the turn-based system works amazing in the older games because the overworld is also very static, and it's not turn-based isn't the right term, but it's like it's slower paced and it is methodical and everything's on a grid, right? It's like it's input based. I feel like that might be a good way to describe it. The whole game is input based, where in these console games where the overworld is like dynamic and moving and unexpected and things are happening, that transition into battle where it's like now all of a sudden you're playing a completely different game and it's as slow as heck, like that, I feel like that disconnect has just continued to ratchet up. And now I'm looking, and that's why I think I had a lot of fun with ZA, and that's also why I had a lot of fun with Legends Arceus. And so I think the solution is not a real-time combat for Gen 10, but I think it needs to do something in order to keep that momentum, right? So it doesn't feel like two separate games.
Mm-hmm. Let's not forget that Scarlet and Violet introduced the auto battle feature.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wonder if there'll be something along the lines of that, but maybe just expanded. So you can either engage in a full Pokemon battle and then you're going with a classic battle style.
Yeah.
But if you're just running around in the overworld and you want to do it more quickly, then it's more the ZA style. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that would get too complicated. But I think
Synchro
you're right.
Machine too, if they bring that back.
true,
Maybe
true.
like as you play as the Pokemon, you're doing real time real time. Make sure
I have
the terms
doubts
right.
about I have doubts about the Synchro Machine, but who knows?
Really,
I don't
they
know.
said
It
said
feels like-
in the games it was
Yeah.
like a prototype or it was in its beta stage. Like it was weird. They gave it to you and they were like, "This is early. It's gonna get better." And it obviously doesn't anywhere in that
In
game.
Gen
so it makes you
12.
wonder: are they bringing it back? You know?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe. But I just wanted to go back to what we're talking about with the battle styles. I wonder, like, I agree with your general point, Dusty, because I think you really hit the main thing, which is I think that it just needs a revamp.
Yeah,
That's all. And I
100%,
think that's what
that's what
you're
I
saying.
want.
You're like saying it
Yeah.
just needs some changes.
Yeah.
And I think it does need some modern changes, but I still think that turn-based has a place in this
100%.
in this franchise, especially because that's my fear. It's just like when people want to go completely to like a ZA style battle, it's an action game. Like it is not what Pokemon has been, and it's not that Pokemon can't change. That's the thing. It's like I don't personally want it to change. I think that there's modern games that have turn-based battles that are very successful. I mean, we look at Expedition 33 is one of the main ones right now that are, it blew up and it's
I was
turn-based.
playing Octopath Traveler 0 for the first time last month, and I'm having a blast with it. That's a turn-based game. I've got no issue with that, but there are additional elements to that. Yeah, I don't know what the solution
Right.
is. I really don't. It's just becoming
update.
more and more Yeah, like again, when I play Fire Red and Leaf Green, no issue. When I play up to Gen 5, maybe even Gen 6, there's no issue. But like playing Sword and Shield, I am having a good time with that. But also like the battles do feel like just like they feel so slow and it's frustrating and it takes me out of the game. Scarlet and Violet is the same thing for me.
Sword and Shield was one of the ones where you noticed it the most, actually. And even in the DLC, they updated it to where you don't have to essentially like go through like the whole screen of switching into the battle in the Sword and Shield DLC. So I think they will improve upon that even more to make everything feel more seamless. You know, because even in Legends Arceus, it felt more seamless to switch in. And I think that's what the main thing is going to be. It's going to be going faster and smoother, and I think that's a good thing. I would even go as far to say like they should add certain little like animations, like we've talked about on the podcast before, but like different things that happen in the battle that are not just the same old things. But yeah, that does make the battles longer as well. So it's like how do they, you know, figure out, you know, what
I want it to go
navigate
quicker. I want the battles to go quicker. That's like half the thing. I don't want it to be longer at all.
Adding ZA or Arceus capture, I think, would help with some of that, because if nothing else, you are not battling or at least you don't have to battle every single Pokemon. So that would make it at least feel less repetitive.
But trainer battles, even. Anyways, what I'm trying to, I think
I personally don't have an issue with any of it.
I don't either.
I'm perfectly fine if it stays the way it is. I'm just talking about the people that talk about it needing a little revamp.
So there is a desire by some part of the fandom, right? I'm not speaking for everyone, but I also think what Charlie brought up earlier, which is that Pokemon Champions is being positioned as an alternative or a preservation of the original classic turn-based battle system, also kind of implies that the like the battle system we're gonna see going forward will be different, right? So again, what, like, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm just wondering, what is that difference? How different could it get? You know?
Yeah,
maybe it's just I don't know. Yeah. And by the way, I'm sorry, and we are going to get to the super chats. You guys have been so generous. We are going to get to those. We're just trying to stay on topic, you know, with this conversation. But we will get to these super chats.
Not lose track.
Thank you guys so much. Sorry, Lumi.
But I think Champions is like, I think it's more preserving the battles in a sense of like, it's kind of the competitive hub where this is how I'm reading it, you know, where they're going to be able, like, one thing they said on the site, I don't remember the exact verbiage, but they said something to the extent of like, you know, there'll be new regulations every so often. And it said something to the effect of like, oh, you know, keep an eye out. Maybe a new regulation will have like new Pokemon available. And I don't think it means new, like brand new Pokemon are going to get added in Champions, but new, like, hey, Empoleon wasn't in the last regulation, but he's in this one. So like the way I read it is like Champions is preserving it in the sense that it's going to focus like purely on competitive. So it could maybe, you know, maybe they could see, oh, this, I'm sure Charlie could name a better Pokemon, but let's say Incineroar is way too, like, it's dominating. We need an Incineroar answer. Oh, well, this Pokemon kind of checks a lot of what Incineroar does. So this next regulation we're going to put in just to make things a little more balanced. And so the mainline games don't have to juggle competitive balance on top of everything else. So I think, like, it allows the mainline games to maybe even also experiment with their battles a bit. And if it's good, hypothetically, they could update Champions to include that kind of stuff. Or if it is kind of crazy and not balanced at all, they could go, okay, well, you know what, Champions is going to avoid that, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope, and my suspicion is that exactly that, Lumi, that Champions will just be the VGC hub, and so it'll be the battles that we're all familiar with, but that doesn't mean that Winds and Waves won't be.
Right.
As you say, it might just be new ways of battling, introducing some Sky battles and Die battles, as you say, or some ZA battle style too.
It's tough to imagine what, like, I'm asking a lot of questions, but like it is tough to imagine like what it would actually look like. I'm not the one developing the game, so I don't know what the answer is. I feel like there are aspects of these real-time, of the Legends series Pokemon games that like I'm having a lot of fun with. And even I'm playing a turn-based game like Octopath, and that's also very fast. But also the world is, again, it's a top-down game. Like the classic Pokemon. So like the turn-based doesn't seem out of place in that regard. But all right, well let's talk about Champions a little bit. Let's actually let me read some.
Do the super chats.
Yeah,
first?
let me read some of these super chats, and then I would like to talk about Champions and maybe just kind of peel back and see what that game actually might look like. We got the real PokeGod with a super chat saying, "So my thoughts for the box art legends in Weewa are possible dragon types. I believe there are going to be updated versions of Rayquaza and Kyogre." That is pretty cool. Third legendary Groudon. I'll take that.
Yeah.
That sounds sick.
That'd be funny.
That sounds sick.
It is interesting how similar to like Hoenn this game feels. You know, like the starters are kind of similar. You have a gecko, you have a chick, and you know some people have said like, oh, Mudkip is an axolotl, which is a word for a mud puppy, and you have a puppy. But then also winds and waves. So like forces of nature and stuff, and you have Kyogre and Groudon, and even Rayquaza. I always forget this, but Rayquaza like kind of does have a wing gimmick with its Mega Evolution having Delta Stream, I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Sky Pokemon. Yeah.
True. There's definite overlap with Generation 3. I think though, and based on what Pokemon have done previously, where there have been similar games, is focus on what is unique about specifically winds and waves rather than land and sky and sea. And in this case, it's momentum, it's turbulence, it's it kind of, you wouldn't have waves without winds, which is an interesting thing.
Right.
So yeah, I it'll be interesting to see. I don't think it'll be a total just copy of Hoenn Legendaries, of course.
Right.
It's it'll be.
It will try to differentiate.
It's also like it's a theme that really lends itself to the generation of power, right? Where does the wind come from? And so maybe these legendaries will be what's causing the undulations and the natural forces that provide the winds and the waves, rather than just a Pokemon that represents the sea and the sky.
Yeah.
It's true. It's tied to sun and moon, even because of the moon and the waves and all that.
All three games being tropical.
Well, maybe there's a hint as to how they're bringing all the generations back in one. That would be my dream, but we'll have to see.
The Hoenn games, right, are about land and sea, which is like almost like a horizontal. You could think of it like a horizontal dichotomy. You got land or you have sea. They're next to each other. But this is winds and waves. It's vertical, right? You can go underneath the waves with diving, or you can go up into the sky with the winds. There's a verticality there. That's how I'm thinking about it. So I think they're gonna feel very different. I also like that we got, honestly, get rid of the red color. Like, I'm glad we got two box arts that are blue and green. That's kind of sick.
Yeah.
All right. Ben Boatman says, when is the next trailer? I am desperate. Get this man some water.
Me too.
He's like the SpongeBob meme. He's just, I don't need it. You do, Ben. We need to get you some. We need to get you another trailer. ETC
couple months at least.
G.
Get right on that.
With the massive super chat. Thank you guys for all the support. He says, "What's good, you guys? Thanks for all you do for the community. Can you talk about when you think Weewa will release and why? And also, who do you think will have the coolest final Evo for the starters?" Yeah, when do you Charlie, do you have any not insight like information from the Pokemon company, but do you have any, like, I don't know, like have you maybe, I don't know, like when do you think the next trailer is going to be? Have you identified any patterns?
Well, all I would say is that there was a presence for Pokemon Day last year, and then in July last year as well. I think so. Yeah, I think at least one around spring, summer. What's nice about it coming out in 2027, and yeah, you flagged this, Dusty, earlier on, is it gives them time, and like they did with Sun and Moon, releasing a lot of trailers in the run-up to the release of those games, it gives them time just to drip feed things over the course of the year. A lot of people were expecting these games to come out autumn 2026 this year.
Right.
Great that it's 2027. It's great that we're already sort of off that 3-year cycle, because it shows that they sort of listened and they're really, hopefully, making these games as good as they possibly can be, and as few hitches upon release as there can be. Same as it seems with Champions, just to make sure they get it right. In terms of when it will come out, I don't know. I think there was obviously a lot of pressure on them for the 30th anniversary to announce Gen 10 on Pokemon Day this year. Would they then go ahead and release Winds and Waves late 2027? I'm not sure, because that is a long old build-up.
That's 2 years.
My hunch would be Pokemon Day next year. So exactly 12 months after we hear about Winds and Waves, it actually comes out.
I
That'd
agree.
be fun too. The 10th generation releasing the same day as the first generation will be kind of poetic, you know.
Although next year, I think it'll be Pokemon Day will be a Saturday.
Yeah, that's the
maybe 2 days before
problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have
2
been
days
perfect.
before, 5 days after.
Yeah,
one of those. I agree. We've talked about it ad nauseum probably so far, but I think to answer the question, I think I agree with Charlie here on that one.
I think I really think as I'm playing, I feel like I'm 20 hours into Pokopia, and I was talking to Toby earlier today, and he was telling me, "Oh, you haven't even left the first area," and I didn't realize that. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with the game, and I'm realizing this Pokopia truly is the game that I think I've been wanting from the Pokemon series. I mean, I feel like I'm on record for wanting a game where I can just kind of like be cozy. No, I'm trying to avoid the word cozy because that's just like people are just lumping it into that category. But like,
it is though. It is cozy.
No, it is.
That's good.
No, it is. But what I'm saying is like, I've wanted a game where I can just hang out with the Pokemon and build secret bases. That is something I enjoyed so much from those earlier Pokemon games. I guess specifically the Hoenn titles. And I'm realizing like that is this entire game, and it is like an old, from what I can tell. I don't even know what the plot, like the final. I don't know any of the lore of the game. All I know is it's the Kanto region at some point, and there's no humans. And I'm playing the game, and I'm like, this is kind of crazy that this is a Kanto game. It's a Game Freak title.
It's basically Legends Kanto. Man.
Yes, yes. So I'm starting to think Pokopia is our this is our 30th year. This is the game we're getting this year.
I think you
can choose to play it or not, but I'm having a blast.
It might be that way. It might be that way to fans, but I don't think that that's what the plans were. And I don't want to go too deep into it because I have all these thoughts on Pokopia.
Yeah, but that's what it is. That's what it's out right now, and that's the game that we're getting this year. And I think I'm starting to think we're not getting another game at the end of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we're definitely like
absolutely not.
There's no way they would have announced right like this game comes out in 2027.
They could announce something
but
else.
A little later, we're going to announce a game that's going to be coming out in 2026. That feels a little weird.
Unless it was like a BDSP game that was coming out at the end of the year.
That's what I was thinking.
Think that, but it would be like exactly. Like
I'd rather they just drop Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald like they did Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
That's what I'd want from them.
But I just want to say, I don't think that wasn't the plan. I don't think even we're seeing it online none of the stores were like stocked up enough to they weren't expecting it to sell as well as it's selling. Like they weren't like, this is the game this year. You know what I mean?
No, that's a good point.
This is it. But
yeah, they're selling out everywhere.
It has become
Pokopia is selling out everywhere.
They are selling out everywhere, man. It's crazy. I saw like Walmart Canada opened pre-orders for Pokopia like last week because all their pre-orders were bought up and Walmart Canada didn't have stock of Pokopia anymore. So they had to okay, well, the next shipment pre-orders for that one are now up.
Yeah, wow. Okay. I think Joe Merrick from Cerebi published figures of sales of Pokopia within the first 4 days, and I mean it's insane. I can't remember the figure off the top of my head.
2.2 million.
2.2 million, right. So yeah, it surprised me as well. And the more I hear you talk about it, the more I'm thinking, I should probably just play the game, shouldn't I?
But don't rush it. There's literally no way to
don't rush it,
but
you should. It's not a game meant to be rushed, but you should pick it up. It's really good.
You would probably like it.
My main question to you would be, it was very much, in my eyes, advertised as like an Animal Crossing Stardew Valley thing. To what extent is that true?
I think it's better. I think this morning it is so much better than Animal Crossing.
I like literally think if we were doing like percentages, and obviously these are very arbitrary, not very hardcore. I would be like, it's 10% Animal Crossing. Like,
right.
You talk to the Pokemon like they're villagers in Animal Crossing a little bit, and that's kind of it. Then there's like a whole other aspect, because things that you do with villagers in Animal Crossing is like bring them something, and
and you can do that in this game.
I mean, you
can, with Pokemon. But there's so much more. The thing about this game is it's just so much deeper than Animal Crossing in a lot of ways.
So,
and I think that's where like the Minecraft and like Dragon Quest Builders. I think Dragon Quest Builders is probably like, I haven't played it, but I think it's probably the closest because it's the same creators. If you watch any videos on that, I think that's probably around what you're getting.
I think
it's just like I think
Animal
Minecraft
Crossing
is what I'm getting. You can build anything you want. I spent 2 hours yesterday just building this house, and then I realized, oh no, I'm supposed to be. I kept trying to put like the Ditto flag on my house, and then I'm like, oh no, they want me to build like an actual, like one of those little shelter habitats, which is actually like the house, and that kind of made me sad. But you can do whatever you want. I literally spent 10 hours exploring the world, and there's. I don't even know if we're answering your question, Charlie, but it's a lot of fun.
Honestly, it's like
it's endless. It's not.
It's like the game is a little dishonest with its appearance because it does look very Animal Crossing. Like the character looks very similar to an Animal Crossing. The music is like they took Pokemon tracks and handed it to an Animal Crossing composer and said, "Do this," you know.
There are a lot of sound effects that feel straight ripped from Animal
they feel
Crossing.
straight. Yeah, but like that's it. Is like just that top level vibe. But there's so much. There's also, I don't know. There's some really, you know, I don't want to spoil anyone, so I won't. But there's really interesting like lore bits you get on like because again you're in Kanto and this doesn't look like the Kanto that we've seen before. And they're explaining why, and it's crazy.
Charlie,
there's a progression to the story as well. So,
Charlie, I'll say this: like when I saw Pokopia, like up until I actually played it, I was thinking, this is going to be a cash grab. This is going to be shallow. This will not actually live up to the care and craft of. Like that we see in any of these other games that we're comparing it to, but everything about this game feels like intentional, from like lines of dialogue to how to actually get the Pokemon to appear. Like it's just so deep. This isn't a Pokopia cast, so I think we should move on. So, but it is. It's worth the money. It's worth the time. Honestly, I'm having a blast.
I have friends who are willing to buy a Switch 2 just to play this game, so they're willing to drop $520 basically. You know.
I mean, before we move on to Japanese, just my final question is there a story in Pokopia?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It's
yeah. There's a story. There's a story.
It's light, I suppose. Maybe.
No. There is a story.
There's a reason they did not advertise the story because it is not the main. You know, if you were buying Pokopia because you want a new story and that's the only reason you're buying it, maybe it's not worth it for you. But that's not the forefront thing. But there is a story and it is very interesting.
As soon as you start the game, there's a story. Like as soon as you start the game, you're like, there's a story with every person that you talk to. Every item that you pick up, you find artifacts that have little descriptions of things. Those are all stories. Like there's tons of story.
Probably more like a plot that follows through the whole game, and there
is
one, but it's like a background plot.
There is, but it's the back burner, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we're just yelling at Charlie.
I will say one.
We also haven't gotten our thoughts out on Pokopia, so we're like
we haven't talked about it at all, which is interesting. But I will say one last thing, and it's just some people just don't like this style of game, and I don't know I don't know what you like and don't like, so that's the thing. It's like maybe you like it.
No, I say get it.
It is a quality game.
You'll like it. It's fun.
It's a quality game.
It was surprising for me.
Yeah, it definitely looks surprising. Yeah, I think I want to watch a Pokopia movie. Basically, I want to know the lore and I want to sort of explore the region, but not necessarily drop that much money on a game that I think fundamentally isn't really to my taste. In terms of Animal Crossing elements or whatever, but again, it seems like it goes far deeper than that. But yeah,
I just keep getting lost. I just keep getting lost, and I'm like, what? This is a thing? I spend like 40 minutes on one thing, and I'm like, that's
the thing is
fun.
It can be overwhelming to people as well. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's so
there's no direction.
Much, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm mixed up.
Let's keep going. I'm sorry, guys. I mean,
what are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
That was just a super chat, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. You derailed us. No,
the real PokeGod says sky battles would be amazing, like Lumi has said before. Can only use flying types as that time until you are on the ground, and that's just we don't need to deviate, but that is kind of what I was getting at. Where I didn't say this, but I'm like, if we're underwater, are you limited to certain Pokemon? That kind of is fun. That is engaging in a game. It's like it's like depending on where your location is, your Pokemon are going to have natural benefits or or disadvantages depending on the environment, which is kind of fun.
That's what I want.
It keeps you on your toes. It makes you have to make a decision rather than just having to rely on your overpowered 6 Pokemon, you know?
In Sword and Shield, I think it actually started in Legends Arceus, but then they continued it in, not Sword and Shield, sorry, Scarlet and Violet, and then they also continue it in Legends EA. There are some Pokemon that, like, when you throw them out over water, they'll swim. And it's not just water types. They're like Pikachu swims. There are some Pokemon that fly above it. It's not just flying types. Like Heracross will fly above the water. And then there are Pokemon that are just, like, on a platform. And I think it would be neat if, they incorporated that into it. And, like, so you're battling underwater. Swimming Pokemon can be used underwater. You're battling in the air, in the sky. Any flying Pokemon, not flying type, but Pokemon that can fly. Are doing that.
Sky Jordan says, let's see. I
think Charlie had some thoughts on that, Dusty.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll just jump in very quickly and say I think it raised an interesting Winds and Waves more than any other game before. I've always found the name Flying Type a bit weird. It doesn't really fit with the others. I don't know why it's not air or wind or something like that. And I wonder if Winds and Waves will, I don't know, either will rename it or just probably not at this point because flying is such an establishment. But you know what I mean? It just raises a question about the flying type that even more so than before.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I think I think a lot of Pokemon types, like the grass type doesn't make sense, but it does because it you can visualize what that is. Like everyone knows what grass is, but it's like if it was called Earth or nature, it's a little bit more abstract or scientific. And I feel like flying is the same thing. It's like, okay, well, if you can fly, then you have mastery over, like, you know what flying is, just hovering or, But I'm with you. It doesn't totally describe the type properly. Sky Jordan King says, I'd love to see monotypes given the opportunity to be, for example, fire type. Oh, interesting. Fire type, so they get like a 2x multiplier. Let's see 6 move slots. How about TMs for abilities? Just change anything, really. That's kind of fun. So they're just
changing some stuff.
They're just talking about like shaking up the battle system completely.
But all their weaknesses would be 4 times.
Yeah,
that feels like a lot.
It's interesting.
You know?
Interesting.
But it's like maybe like only certain Pokemon have that double up. You know, like Magmar's
I think Terra kind of functions as that, though. You know what I mean? Like, because you can, if I terrestrialize my fire type into a fire type, it gets that multiplier for its moves. But then also, it's not 4 times weak to all of fire's weaknesses. So I feel like that's the answer to that.
Yeah, maybe. That's kind of fun. Any thoughts on that, Charlie?
I mean, I was thinking about it. I think, especially if we were considering this for the first partners, for the starters, it would be a little bit too, I don't know, make things a little bit too difficult. All I was thinking as well is, you might remember in X and Y, for example, there's just one house where you can do a battle where the type chart is reversed. And so you have to think, you use what was a not very effective move, and suddenly in this one battle, it's super effective. I wonder if that's a really fun idea. I don't know. I could only see it being used in certain types of battle. No more than that. But
P1 Polyrath. Wow, dude. You guys are being so generous in the chat. Thank you guys. P1 Polyrath says, okay, I'm not going to say this as a Gen 1 Pokemon fan, but as someone who also loves ZA, turn-based is harder and more strategic to me anyways. I'm not crushing every trainer I run into with one hit right away and running away.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's harder.
There's a debate there.
Way.
Yeah, because the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize, I didn't even realize this for a while, but it's like turn-based is strategic because you have turn-based is strategic. We'll just say that. You have, at any given point, let's say 20 decisions you can make every turn. Let's just say that. It's a number, right? But with real-time combat, now you have 20 decisions to make times whatever the multiplier is for all of the real-time elements. And you have to think quicker. So, like, in that way...
That's why it doesn't work, though. Because it's too much. It's too crazy. It's like you can't. It's not that it doesn't work. It's that it's limited, right? You have to limit it because it's just way too crazy. So the turn-based allows you to play chess instead of playing I don't know whatever a fast little card game is. You know.
See, no, but
which is why they have it perfect right now, because you want it to be real time, like in a game. I totally get the appeal for that. But I do think like real time should never be it could be a side thing, but like the competitive circuit, because like what's being said here, turn-based, the chess components of it, the more strategic component of it is what makes VGC so interesting to me. But likewise, I like single battles more than I like double battles. I've always enjoyed that more.
Right.
It's been here since Gym 1, but I'll be the first to admit VGC doesn't need to do single battles. If it does, it needs to be another thing. It does not need to get rid of the double battles, because doing it 2 Pokemon on the field at once multiplies the amount of decisions you have by more than 2, honestly.
I think I just want to like chime in here and say that like there's a couple. I feel like we're not recognizing some biases. I feel like every time we talk about real time, there's an assumption that it is like it's like playing, I don't know, I don't know. It's like playing something. It's like playing rock, paper, scissors, but like whatever the real time combat version of that is. Like, it's not a simple thing. I think the equivalent, like, sure, chess is complicated, but you know what else is complicated and super strategic? Any sort of like sport. No, a sport, like an actual, like any sort of actual, like athletic thing. There's strategy involved in any sort of real time game. There's just as much strategy, but there's also another element of you have to think on your feet, and that is an element of the combat as well. I just feel like the real-time combat gets like put down as if it's like for babies, which is, I don't know. I'm like, I think
no one's
they're
saying
just
that,
different things.
I mean,
I think we are.
I basically button mashed my way through ZA, so I don't know.
I
did was just
I kind of did too,
button.
but I also know that
not.
Like with esports, like Charlie, can you chime in on this? Like a lot of other esports, which I'm not super familiar with, but I feel like it would be insulting to say that they're not strategic because they're real time.
No one's not saying that either.
No one said it isn't strategic.
I think a lot of people.
Less strategic.
I feel like
Exactly.
didn't we? I feel like we just said. I feel like that was the sentiment that was just thrown out there. That like real time is
not at all.
I think that's a way to look at it.
I'm not familiar with other esports. That is generally more of a real-time element to it. But yeah, for sure. I think, fundamentally, when you strip it all back in any game, it has to be somewhat challenging for it to be satisfying to play.
Sure.
You look at VGC, for example, and there's a reason why we often see similar names coming out on top. If it were entirely luck-based, obviously, then it would just be a different person every single time. So yeah, no, there's definitely skill. And I think on this point, I was going to say, actually, on coming back to Winds and Waves 2, is something I've long wanted in Pokemon games, is you choose at the start, are you going to play in single mode or double mode?
Sure.
The battles going through the game are VGC style or their single battle style, or you can choose a mixture.
That's fun.
Obviously. I think that could be a really good way to include more players.
That's super fun.
Yeah,
that's super fun.
That's really fun.
All right, I'm trying to get through these super chats, but we got to talk about champions. I'm gonna read this one right here by @Ferenzo, who dropped a 20 bomb, and they said, the Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky first chapter has a unique take on a hybrid battle system where you can choose to do real-time overworld battles, but are able to choose to switch into a turn-based battle. That's kind of cool. I don't know what that is. Have you guys played this?
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, me neither. That's cool. I'll check that out. I will get back to these other super chats. We got to talk about champions. Thank you guys for the support. We will read these super chats today. We're gonna read these. Thank you. This has been a lot of fun. Let's talk champions. Charlie, what are you anticipating from this game? Let's start there.
Yeah,
where's your
that's
mind
kind
at?
of like the $1 million question for everyone in the.
It is indeed.
The thing with I guess. Let's sort of work backwards here, because right now is an interesting time for champions, because we had the news. So it was announced Pokemon Day 2025, and then there was a presents in July that gave us a little bit of a hint as to how to train, how to recruit, etc. And then at the World Championships last year, on the Championship Sunday, and I was there in that arena, and it was the most insane.
You saw it live.
Yeah, I saw.
That's so cool.
These updates. I was casting the juniors finals live for VGC, which was insane as well. But in this 5,000 seater arena in Anaheim, and there they announce the World Championships in 2026 will be played on Champions, and then, as far as I'm aware, we have nothing for months. I think we'd all assumed, because the way the season worked out for the overall 2026 season, which runs from September 2025 to August 2026, in December 2025, there were no competitive events. I believe globally, certainly not NA or EU, there were no competitive events. And so I think we all assumed, okay, so that's when, because there are no events there, that's when Champions will come out and we'll get used to it there. But in fact, this trailer that came out in July said coming in 2026. So I think there was just this collective amnesia across the community. But I think we did assume that it would come early 2026, January. And, you know, chances are, if it's going to be on the World Championships, they're going to want to run at least one international championships. And we've got 3 in the circuit as it currently stands, with Latin America International Championships, European, and then North American. They want to run at least one of those international championships or ICs with champions. We've had EUIC, the only one left is NAIC, so presumably that's where they're going. And obviously before they run an international championships with champions, they're going to want to run a regional level event with champions. And so we've been told now on Pokemon Day that it's coming in April. I think, you know, this is a separate point, but this Pokemon Day, this Pokemon Presents, I think it was 25 minutes, which is tied with some others as the longest presents we've had, but crucially no more than 25 minutes. It felt like they were really zipping through the news.
Yeah.
And that was really the case with Champions too. It was a video, there was no further comment, and I don't know, it almost felt like it had to be no longer than 25 minutes for some reason. I have no idea. So we're told it's releasing in April. Now, as I don't think we were recording when I said this, or we were live when I said this, but last night, sign-ups went live for the Los Angeles Regional Championships. And this is, let me just scroll through my notes here to remind myself when that is. LA is May 8th to 10th, or that weekend. And people were signing up, and I believe they were, I don't know the full picture here, but from what I've seen on social media, people were presented after signing up with the Scarlet and Violet logo rather than the Champions logo, i.e. this tournament will be played on Scarlet and Violet rather than on Champions, but the game is coming in April. And obviously, crucially, they haven't given us an exact date within April, and they said that mobile devices coming later this year. We can but speculate as to, it seems like there have been delays. I can't confirm, but it seems like there have been delays. We can only speculate as to what those delays are. What's also really interesting is they've had to announce Master Ball leagues from elsewhere in the globe. In fact, today they announced for Philippines, Taiwan, etc. And some of those events will be played in Scarlet Violet, some of them will be played in Champions. It seems based purely on date. Like, as we get into May, we're transitioning over to Champions, but anything prior to that is on Scarlet and Violet. Right. And the thing is, they have now confirmed as well, I messaged this to you, Dusty, last week, I think, the next global challenge, so we've got these online competitions within Pokemon, you've got grand challenges and global challenges, we don't really need to get into the distinction now, but the next global challenge, the sign-ups will be from 23rd of April, and they've said it will be on Champions running the MA format. We have no idea what the MA format is. It does say on the Champions website that after this, funnily enough, the format will be MB format. So we can assume that M stands for Mega. They've been very clear. Even the CEO of Pokemon, Mr. Tsunekazu Ishihara, at Worlds last year, said, enjoy Mega Evolved Pokemon in Pokemon Champions.
Right.
And like, you can get a Dragonite if you download Champions by a certain date. And yeah, the Megas are all over the trailer and exactly in this art as well. What's something that's important to bear in mind about this art for the Japan Championships, which tends to happen sort of early June, is not only do we have the Mega ZA starters, but we've got Mega Flower and we've got Mega Zygarde in the back there. So when I first saw this, I thought, oh, is this going to be viable in VGC? Because certainly in ZA, Mega Zygarde is broken. But of course, this is the art they use for Go and for TCG as well. And I believe that Mega Zygarde, again, I really don't know much about the trading card game, but I believe that Mega Zygarde is viable potentially already or will be in the trading card game. So who knows what overlap there will be with this key art and VGC. So basically, we have all these little breadcrumbs, we've had all these little teasers, but we are yet to discover A, when Champions is officially coming out, B, what MA means. Now they've said, I realize I'm, going off on one here.
Please.
I'll go for it.
Said
this is why you're here.
Yeah, true. They have said that not all Pokemon will be available in Champions immediately. And as you hinted at earlier, Lumi, they've said that for later regulations, maybe new Pokemon will be available. And like you, I don't assume for a moment they mean brand new Pokemon. I mean just, like in Scarlet and Violet, we don't have access to the full Pokedex, right?
Yes.
Which, by the way, is another thing I hope that we get in Winds and Waves. It'd be amazing for the 10th generation to have all the Pokemon that are available again. But anyway. And so...
Okay.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed, but...
right.
And so we don't know what Pokemon are going to be viable for this first MA regulation. It does emphasize as well on the Champions website that you can transfer Pokemon from ZA into Champions, so all the new Megas, hopefully. And let's bear in mind, as we sort of hinting at before as well, we don't know what the abilities of these Pokemon are when it comes to traditional Pokemon battles, because there are no abilities in Legends ZA. So it'll be really interesting to see actually what is going to be competitively viable in a VGC sense. So, all of this to say that we are on the cusp of knowing more about Pokemon Champions.
Quite
but
literally.
It seems like they're obviously being very deliberate about hedging their bets as to when the game is going to come out because of, unforeseen things. And just the competitive community, for sure, is desperate to know more, especially because this year, it feels kind of like... So from September to December, we had the regulations set H format. I'll explain what that is in a moment. And January through to April, again, it's kind of, the line is blurred there because we don't know when Champions is coming, is regulations at F. So regulations at H we had before. It is no legendaries, basically. Any Pokemon that's available in Scarlet and Violet, but no legendaries. And that's not just box art, that's also the sub-legendaries, the Landorus, etc. And then regulations at F is the... up to the Blueberry Pokedex, but no box art legendary. So legendaries are back, but it's none of the box art legendaries and regulations at F. And we were playing regulations at F for the Europe International Championships 2 years ago in 2024. UIC this year was also regulations at F in 2026. And they're clearly, given that we've already had regulations at H before as well, they're clearly very resistant to put anything new in because they know that Champions is on the horizon and it's going to be huge. I mean, Mega Evolutions we haven't had in competitive for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So at this point, not only are people, just excited about Champions, but also I think people are just a bit done with regulations at F in Scarlet and Violet. And, the longer you play a format... more sort of solved, in inverted commas, people say it is because they've sort of done all the experimentation they can. And certainly we've seen a lot of teams so far this year in regulations at F that just did well the last time, and they're still good now. So I think overall the feeling is the current competitive state of Pokemon has to be said, a little bit stale, but Champions is really going to freshen things up. We don't have the news about Champions that we need in order to get excited about the future of competitive. So as soon as more information comes out, I think it's going to feel like basically a season of two halves, pre-Champions and after Champions, because it's just going to make all sorts of things viable that we hadn't even considered before.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
No, that was so good. Thank you so much.
Great.
He went full caster mode right there. I love that.
True.
Yeah.
That was really
amazing plays. He's gonna do this. Oh, and it's a defeat, a KO. He got the knockout. He's the new champion.
Hanging on every word. Though. Very nice.
No, that it's just weird. It's just weird. And I guess I'm just like, I mean, no, you if you guys have something else to say, Lumi, if you have something to say.
The only thing the biggest thing to pull from that, I'd say, is that it's coming in April, and I don't think that they would have people compete on it until they get some time with it. So it does make sense that you wouldn't be competing on it until May at least, like at the earliest.
To add to that, like Teal Mask came out in September of 2023, and you didn't start seeing Mons from that get used until October. So like they gave you time with it. And then same thing for Indigo Disc. It was like a month later. So I think that makes sense. Probably, I mean, Charlie, you could probably weigh in a little more on this, but probably even more so now because it's not just new Mons. It's basically a new gimmick. We've had Mega Evolution before, but long ago, it's basically a new gimmick. It's a new game that you're playing on. You're not even playing on Scarlet and Violet anymore. I don't even know how this would factor in for events, when it comes to mobile and stuff.
Yeah, true. Mobile we can come to, but that raises all sorts of things because also on the website they have revealed the Omni Ring, which is a device that trainers wear. Obviously, for Mega Evolution, you need a Mega Ring. This Omni Ring, I believe in the picture it shows on the website, it's got the Mega symbol as one of the icons around this ring, as well as the Z-Move symbol. And it says something like, who knows, maybe there'll be more features added to the Omni Ring and even, mechanics that we're yet to discover, sort of thing. Initially I have no doubt it will remain just Mega, but I have no doubt that Terrestrialization will come, maybe even Dynamax. Something I think we talked about maybe when I was on the podcast last year is, will we have, for example, Mega Terra Pokemon, Mega Evolved Pokemon that can also terrestrialize. And it would seem like that sort of thing
that seems to be the
like
promise.
too much of a stretch. It doesn't seem too complicated.
And we've seen that in the
TV
TV show. Like they've shown it in official media in other places. So I think that would be kind of fun. Yeah.
I think also, Lumi, to come to what you were saying about Teal Mars, for example, something that people sometimes forget is Scarlet and Violet came out mid-November 2022. Our first VGC tournaments in Scarlet and Violet were January that year, which I was very pleased about, to be honest. I don't want to just rush through a game in order to beat it, in order to compete. It was nice to be able to take my time with the game, and then come January, the events picked up. Yeah. And that meant that after the World Championships in London in 2022, there were no VGC events. There were no in-person events until January, where Scarlet and Violet started to be played on the competitive circuit. I also want to come back to the fact that something that some people have flagged. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but I think it's the case. You've got the Orlando Regional Championships the first weekend in April. And then Prague over in EU, April is 25th, which is April 25th to 26th. There is a big old gap there. And that's why people are speculating that at some point in that gap, Champions will drop so that people can get used to it. Again, there might be some regional level events in the rest of the world in that gap. But my hunch is that actually there aren't. And that is just a gap to give us time to get used to Champions. But who knows? So we've got some, it doesn't really narrow it down, but sometime between the first weekend of April and April 25th, Champions should be coming out. And probably at least a week before Prague.
Wasn't the first... I don't know what it's called, but something was announced on the 23rd. Something's supposed to happen with Champions.
It's registration. So there's going to be a global challenge, which are like those monthly tournaments they do. Registration for that tournament begins on I almost said January, April 23rd. And the interesting thing about that is for those global challenges, you register from your game. So like if I was registering for a Scarlet and Violet challenge, it's not a website I go to and register like the regionals or internationals. Or
you do it right in the game.
I do it on Scarlet and Violet. So like hypothetically, I would do this on Champions, which would mean Champions would have to be out on April 23rd. And I think it's even April 23rd, midnight UTC. So it would actually be the 22nd for some parts of the world. So.
Yeah. Well, that's registration. What I think has happened for Scarlet and Violet in the past is that the registration opens a week before the actual tournament. So we're talking the last weekend in April, the tournament would actually happen. But the sign-ups will open the week before, if it still works in the same way. And another thing to note about this global challenge is it's far more accessible. So you can sign up and then cancel, submit a different team, and you can do that as many times up until the deadline. And then you can even choose to start participating while the tournament has started, whereas in Scarlet and Violet, you had to submit a team before the cutoff deadline, before the first day of play. And then you just play that tournament and you can't sign up while the tournament is actually on.
I'm seeing there's a note right on the website. I don't know if we've already referenced this or if anyone has seen it, but this looks new. It says note. This is underneath the Pokemon. It says Pokemon Champions will be used for the VGC. Will be the VGC software used for Worlds 2026. There's a blurb, and then underneath that it says note. In certain regions, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet may be used for Champions Series events. That feels like it was kind of added. They must have added that recently.
That sort of comes back to what we were saying about how, for example, Philippines and Hong Kong, their Master Ball leagues that were announced today, they are late April and early May, respectively. They have been said to be on Scarlet and Violet. Right. Sure. And then to be determined, Malaysia, 9th to 10th of May, and then Champions for Thailand, which is 16th to 17th of May onwards, which is also Singapore and Taiwan. So that could just be a date thing rather than a region lock thing, is my speculation, but
So I want to kind of just shift this conversation a little bit and talk about, okay, so we get Champions, people start playing it. Like, I'm curious, I guess I want to talk about a little bit, like, what that is actually going to look like for players, not only for competitive players, but also people in the chat, our listeners, who want to pick up and start playing Champions. It seems, I don't know if Charlie, if you want to just, I want to give you as much airtime as possible. I don't know if you want to just jump on this, but. Cool. But it seems like there's these different currencies. There are purchasable currencies. You have to use some of these currencies. Even though you connect this game, Pokemon Champions, which will be free to download, I'm assuming, you connect it with Pokemon Home. You've put your Pokemon in Home. It seems like in order to keep those Pokemon in Champions, you have to use some sort of currency to keep them. And I'm just there's a lot of questions still.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so from what it seems like, within the game, you've got rank battles. So that would be what's used for like the global challenge and for official tournaments. And also just, the competitive ladder that up to this point has refreshed monthly. Your battle to be at the top of that ladder. But then you've got casual battles as well, which you also have in Scarlet and Violet, which is just battling for fun. And then also private battles, which is family and friends. Let's just throw a team together and have a battle. Yeah, so again, there's all sorts of details to be confirmed about this, but yeah, there's this recruitment system which requires VP, I think victory points, and you earn victory points by winning in ranked battles. It says this either on the website or in the trailers that they've revealed up to now. And then you can use those victory points to spend on training your Pokemon, and it seems like they've really simplified the way to train your Pokemon. Up to this point, you have a total of 508 EVs or effort values that you put into certain stats, and you can essentially put them in however you want to a maximum of 252 in any one stat. It is pretty archaic and pretty unintuitive, the EV system. And I think, as well as the fact that Champions is available on mobile, which immediately makes it more accessible, the fact that they've simplified
which
the
is
training,
cool. I mean, maybe we don't talk about that enough. I actually think that is. Really I've been thinking about that. It's actually kind of cool that it's on mobile. It's
massive. I think it's the biggest thing. I think for me that is the biggest thing about Pokemon Champions that's available on mobile. I have friends who know what I do and had a passing interest in Pokemon playing growing up. They play Gen 1 and then put it down. But the fact that they could just download an app on their phone and then potentially come and participate in a regional, I think, the regionals are already exploding in terms of popularity, and this is just going to make it tenfold.
Like, I don't know if we're allowed to, mention, that unofficial battle simulator that lives online that's been around for like 15 years. I don't know if we're allowed to mention that, but like, that is, a very convenient thing. I remember being in college, and that's a very simple thing that you can do in between classes with friends who didn't have a 3DS at the time.
What's interesting is, in that initial trailer for Champions Pokemon Day last year, it went through most of the generations. I think it was for every console, so it's all for those kids playing Red and Blue.
True.
Then you had Game Boy Advance with Ruby and Sapphire. It would be really cool if in Champions there's a way to do those past formats. Only Pokemon up to Generation 3, but, again.
Yeah.
I would doubt it.
A normal type.
Fingers crossed. But, so you are earning these victory points by battling, and you put that into the training. So instead of these 508 EVs, it seems like you've got just 66 points overall that you put into training. And I think any one stat can have a maximum of... it'll be 32. Yeah, I think it's 32. In the same way that you had the 508 EVs, and the maximum you could put into any one stat was 252, they've just done it again. So now it's 66. You basically halve that, and you have 32 another, and then you have 2 points left over.
See,
now, Wolf, when this information came out, the July presents last year, Wolf Glick, obviously World Champion 2016, probably the most famous competitive Pokemon player of all time.
Sure.
One of them,
Definitely.
Said that, based on initial impressions, there's no mention of IVs, individual values. In other words, the stats that the Pokemon you catch inherently have before you train them up. There's no mention of them, so maybe IVs are done with now. Maybe it's just all of them have a maximum of... Technically, it would be a maximum of 31 IVs. That's essentially just the maximum IVs a Pokemon can have. Maybe just IVs are done, and all of those Pokemon have the highest individual stats they could possibly have, and so they're defunct. Who knows? But there's that.
Right.
And then you can also use victory points to change the ability on your Pokemon and the nature. I find it really interesting because in the Champions sort of publicity, they've called nature's stat alignment, which is true. A modest nature, for example, affects your stats. Well, all of them affect your stats. So a modest nature would be your special attack is boosted and your physical attack is lowered. But I think, to a newbie, it's quite confusing. What
I was going to say that. Yes, thank you.
Why does modest mean plus special attack minus attack?
Right.
But that's just one of those legacy things. I'm sure it's going to be explained in the game. So, and then we've also got this recruitment thing, which is called Roster Ranch. And it seems like every 22 hours, you'll just be presented with a random assortment, a lineup of Pokemon that you can choose from and recruit. Of course, this is more catering to the people who don't have other Pokemon games and can't just transfer their Pokemon over to Champions immediately. And so you can choose to recruit from there. You can have a trial recruitment that lasts 7 days and you don't have to spend any victory points. or you have a permanent recruitment, which obviously you have to spend victory points for. But then there are also all sorts of ways to expedite that process. There are tickets within the game, which I assume, again, will be provided through rewards in the rank battle system, where you can just skip that 22-hour wait and be presented with a new lineup of Pokemon. Yep. Also coupons, so you don't have to spend victory points on training up a certain Pokemon.
Yeah, it just... Okay, there's so many things that are flagging for me, and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. But like, just I don't know. It just feels like it's like all the ways that we're describing about getting Pokemon into this game. Just feels like a gacha game, and to me, that like defeats the purpose of connecting it to home. You know, I'm like, this doesn't feel like do whatever you. This doesn't feel like a simulator. This feels like a gacha game, but with the turn-based system. Am I wrong? Am I out of touch?
There's some things in it that make you feel like it's a gacha game, but I don't think it will be. I just think there's like one feature feels like it, where you like you can get a Pokemon like daily, but
you have to wait,
I don't think that there's much else that'll be in it. I think
and
it's
you have to pay to get. You have to pay to get the Pokemon. Yeah, but you have to get the Pokemon. You have to pay to get the Pokemon from home into Champions to keep them in Champions. That's
the way I see it. Is
a currency.
At the end of the day, a game has to, profit, right? Like at the end of the day, that's just a fact of life. We're not making, if we're the Pokemon company, the four of us sitting here, we're not making Pokemon Champions if it's not going to bring us a profit. That's just not how business works. And the way I see it is, it's kind of a plus because people like, Charlie, you mentioned you have friends who kind of have a passing interest in Pokemon, but no, they're not looking to buy a $450 Switch 2 plus $70 Pokemon game plus another $70 Pokemon game because that one has some Pokemon that I can't get in this one and all that stuff. So yeah, they can get Champions just on their phone and they can purchase Pokemon basically on Champions. But then the way I see it is the connectivity to home is kind of a reward for you, Dusty, who you've purchased a Switch, you've purchased all our Pokemon games, so you can just send those guys in, But you've already paid the price of those Pokemon.
But pause.
That's the way I see it.
But yes, I agree with you up until that point, and then this is where I get frustrated. If I've put all of the time, investment, and money into getting these Pokemon into Pokemon Home, I've been paying for Pokemon Home for like a decade or whatever. I still have to grind or spend money or points or whatever to keep those Pokemon from home in Champions. Like the battling seems seamless and easy. It's getting Pokemon that are ready to go into Champions that is the paywall. And to me, that's like
you don't have to pay to send from
you
home
do
to Champions.
Yes,
no, you don't.
Yeah, to keep them in there, you do.
No, you don't. No,
we don't even know if they can be kept. Actually,
I haven't seen that anywhere online. What it does.
Let me see if I can find it again. We had a whole conversation about this last week.
It insists on saying, you can bring Pokemon to visit Champions.
Yeah. Yes.
Which
to
me
visit.
Suggests that therefore it is a battle simulator game. There's not sort of a story within it, even though there are characters that have been unveiled that we'll get into in a moment, I'm sure, within Champions. But they visit and then they go back. And yeah, I was just scrolling then to find in my notes the small print that they put somewhere. And at the bottom of one of the pages on the Champions website, it says this is a free-to-start game, which obviously fills a lot of people with dread. A Pokemon Champions plus starter pack bundle, as well as optional in-game items, will be available to purchase. So yeah, there will be, it seems like, microtransactions over the course of it.
Right.
But, yeah, I haven't heard about paying to put Pokemon into Champions.
No,
it
I don't think you have to pay.
I don't know if this is where. See, this is, just so everyone knows that I'm not like totally shilling here either. Like. One thing that I think they really messed up with this news announcement is they gave us a trailer on Pokemon Day that, it was a very cool trailer. It was very exciting. It showed us some of the new megas in the game, like Hawlucha and the Raichus, but it actually didn't really tell us anything. And then instead, they posted some information on the website. But then also instead, the Japanese website posted more information that never in any way made it to the US, and that definitely has complicated things. And so I think there's a lot of misinterpretations and miscommunications and probably mistranslations going around. But from my understanding, I think visiting Champions is just a term they use to say bringing from home to Champions. I think they use similar terminology when you would have a Pokemon visit Pokemon Ranch on the Wii way back when. And then they do say that you can, I forget the amount, I think it's 30, correct me if I'm wrong, 30 Pokemon can visit Champions initially from home. You can pay to do, I think it's 80.
which is a one-time purchase. It's like
and it's a one-time purchase, so it's not
Mm-hmm.
like you're paying a subscription every month to keep it at 80. But also too, like those, you get 30 that can come in there for free. Which if you're battling with 6 Pokemon, that means you have 5 teams that you can send in at any point.
Right. And visiting is it's a term. It's like
It's just a term. Yeah.
Can we learn anything from it or can we not?
Well,
like will they be permanently there? Probably not. I just think you can't store them there. Like home is for storage. So you store them in home and then you can just bring them over.
Yeah, that could be it.
When you bring them over, their stats and everything actually stays. So like I think you lose it when it goes to home, so you can't put it in other games. I'm not sure. But when it goes back to Champions, everything that you did to them is still there. That's what I've understood. I could be wrong, but
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think to me the word visit it more implies what Champions is rather than what you have to do in order to make a Pokemon visit. I think all it means is they're visiting because it's not like you're going to go on an adventure roaming the world with your Pokemon.
Right.
They're just going to sit in a box ready to battle. Rather than doing anything more deep than that. And I'm glad you brought that up, Lumi, because it is really weird. On the Pokemon Asia ENG English channel, there is this secondary minute-long trailer.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we didn't see this over on...
Seriously, it's so weird.
Yeah, and, what we see is this town filled with Pokemon. There's a big Victini outside the stadium. And it seems like a return... to be fair, we did see this before, but a return to the massive arenas from Galar, which I loved. It's the Battle Arena in the city of Frontier, which seems to be an homage to the Battle Frontier from older Pokemon games.
Indeed.
And then we've got this lady Caraway, who is the owner of the Battle Arena, and we've got Kojima, who is the mayor of Frontier. And then they've mentioned other characters as well. Totoro will help you enter Champions. Kit will help you partner up with Pokemon at Roster Ranch. Cordy will share new strategies, which is good. It's a nice way to introduce people to the game.
Yeah. There's some world building there as well. It feels a little bit less like a simulator and more like a game, right?
Yeah, exactly that. Caraway has this Hatterene theme, and Kojima has this Komodo theme, and Komodo is absolutely screwed going up against the Hatterene. So Caraway definitely has the...
He's the underdog. Yeah.
Double weakness for Fairy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but also some Incineroar elements, of course.
Yeah.
And it's all about... So they say in this trailer that Pokemon Champions, that's the name given to the people who battle their way to the top of the battle arena. And they're revered throughout the frontier and the world, of course. And... So it's, can you battle your way to the top? So there might be a bit like, from what it sounds like with Pokopia, a very light story mode where you do...
Which is good. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Which would be good, and then allow you to unlock new things. And I could definitely see some, events like they did with Terra Raid events, like every month or every couple of months, there's an event going on in Champions where you can unlock new Pokemon if you can't transfer them from other games. I think I definitely want to shout out Cordy as one of these... trainers, one of these NPCs in Champions, because we haven't really to date had a character in a Pokemon game that teaches you battle strategies. You just learn by watching. Like I remember in Black and White, there's a Cofagrigus that uses Toxic and Protect. And when I saw that for the first time playing through when White came out, I was like, oh, that's a really smart idea. We've never, and in the Indigo Disc where all the battles were double battles against trainers, that you get a very light introduction to these strategies. But the idea of a NPC taking you by the hand and saying, listen, if this Pokemon protects while this one attacks, then X, Y, Z, and ABC. It'd be really cool to see them giving more handholding to newer players who want to really develop that competitive sense, because so far there's a bit of a disconnect between the way the battles work in game and the battles that you see in tournaments. Within the universe of Pokemon, there's no one saying this is how they got to that point,
Right. Yeah. No, it's super helpful. And I love the character designs even. It gives me more of a hope that it could be more Stadium like. And Stadium didn't boast a huge plot line or anything like that. It just was pretty simple as well, just going up the ranks. And I think that there will be a mode possibly in the game that is devoid of like player versus player, and it's just you're doing this these battles in game like in a tournament, maybe like a Frontier thing. So it's a exciting prospect for sure.
It makes sense to do some kind of in-game mode too, because if like the accessibility of it all is supposed to, or an effect of it is that it will bring more people into like competitive Pokemon. I do feel like I remember being a kid and playing Pokemon Black and White, which was kind of like the first game where I like found out about these like online tournaments and stuff and would do them a little bit, and or like the ranked mode. I don't know if it was ranked back then, but like basically the equivalent of what we have today. And I remember like I'd go on there, and I'm a kid, I'm 10 years old, so I am obviously getting clobbered. So it makes sense to have some kind of in-game mode that's a little more accessible to me, so that I'm not like, I'm not playing this.
100%.
I cannot get a win. You're not getting frustrated. You gotta have a mode where you're learning.
I think it's also within Scarlet and Violet, within the main series games, they've been very light on details as to actually train your Pokemon, how to, what proteins do, what ions do, what stats are, what EVs are, what the individual values are. It's just little hints like, this makes a Pokemon stronger, and you sort of have to do legwork. Whereas with Champions, as we said, with the EV system removed and just these seemingly stat points, 66 total, it's far more, and I think in the trailer it shows, that you just have someone just increasing and decreasing at will. And it just, again, as well as the fact that it's on mobile, it just makes it so much more accessible for people to play in terms of, if they want Pokemon to be on the same stage as other massive esports, then to make it as accessible as possible is in their interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad that you brought up earlier the nature thing, because that was always something that, as a kid, I thought it was just something cute about your Pokemon. Like, I have a timid Staraptor. That's cute. My Staraptor's a little scared of people. That's adorable. And I never realized that, like, that's not a good nature for Staraptor, because that's weakening its physical attack.
See, but I like that. I like that, though. I think that was the original intent of these early features that were brought in Gens 2 and Gens 3. It's like, I think Game Freak wanted to add these. They almost wanted to disguise these battle differences and these individual values, right? They wanted to disguise these things as character traits to make, which is true. It's like every single human being has unique experiences and dispositions and personalities, right, etc. And in real life, socially, those just make them different people. But you could also say that there's certain characteristics that are gonna give someone, I guess, a certain advantage in a certain way. Like, I have friends who are way more competitive than me, and they're out there every day, like, just grinding it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm not an Olympic gold medalist, right? That's why I'm a YouTuber, right? There's a different. I had a different disposition. There's some, you know what I'm saying? Like, So
yeah,
I like that.
I like that. I think it was cute too, but it just also has to be explained somewhere that, hey, that's cool that your Pokemon is timid.
Yeah.
I've heard that makes a Pokemon a little faster, but also its physical moves don't work as well,
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Absolutely. We have a couple super chats here. Ace Titanium says, it should be noted that Unite had the same release cycle where it was on Switch first and then on mobile, while still maintaining the same transactions. So I'm not surprised Champions is doing the same.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just like a testing thing.
I'm not surprised either.
Nathan Shorter says, I think Pokemon Champions will have the Pokemon Home treatment, with the free version having limited boxes and the paid version will have more boxes to use. That could be the case.
Confirmed, even. Confirmed, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the case so far. We'll see how much more they add. But
yeah, and just to be clear, like, I just want these things answered. Like, I feel like I've been.
You will get.
I feel like I've been.
The good news.
People think I like want this to fail, but it's just like I want them to be clear about this, because this sounds really fun.
They've been so unclear. Like, seriously, I'm so upset that like they didn't give out the information they give on the Japanese website on the English website. I'm not. Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. That's strange.
It's just like, what are they hiding?
Never happened before.
That's what makes
I don't think it's a hiding thing. I think it's like what Charlie was saying earlier.
Yeah.
I think there's they had some delays, and so some things weren't able to be pushed out like as securely as they would have hoped for. I think and I think the good news is that we're gonna know. We're gonna find out. It's literally they gave us all I needed from Pokemon Day from this game was a release date, and we got that. like I mean, April is the whole month, but April's soon, so we are gonna get some kind of news maybe about it. So that's good. or they just drop it and it's not that long from now and we'll find out everything when they drop it. Like, so your questions will be answered. And I think
basically by the 23rd of April, so a little over a month,
Exactly. I also think ultimately, like, this game is, it's digital, like it's not a hard copy, and they update hard copy games. So I think that this game can be updated progressively throughout years of time. This game could become one of the best games ever. It just might take a while, or it could launch really great. I don't know, but there are updates that can happen that could drastically improve anything or change things, like they did with TCG Pocket. They changed.
You've seen it with
some
Go
certain
too.
Things.
You've seen like
Go is
they'll do
example.
something sometimes, and like people will be like, "Oh, we do not like this," and then Go will go, "Oh, you know what? We're doing this instead." Then like it's just update. It's practically, we know, like, just by that blurb of regulations will change, and when regulations change, new Pokemon may be added. Like, that's kind of hard confirmation that this is going to be like a live service,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think just to develop a point I was saying earlier, I was talking about how people were booking for Los Angeles yesterday, and it still said Scarlet and Violet. We are at the point where some people are saying, "Well, if it's Scarlet and Violet, I don't want to play it, and I will cancel my registration."
Wow.
I
believe that. I believe that.
Because again, like I was saying, people are kind of done with the regulations at F now. It's had its cycle, and this new exciting thing is just too hard to ignore. I think, therefore, going back to what you're saying about, maybe they just drop Champions, maybe it will just come out. They will need to give people who are interested in competitive a heads up as to what the format is going to be for these regulations going forward, and also for the global challenge that's happening at the end of April. What they've done previously is, the month before, normally a new format will start at the start of the month, and at the start of the month prior, they will reveal what the next format will be.
Yeah.
Just to give people some heads up.
Yeah.
We're obviously already past the start of March, but it could be that whenever we get news about the next format, that indicates that we're a month away from Champions coming out, or maybe they've just delayed it because of anything else that might be going on with Champions, and we'll discover at the start of April. But I think, if the sign-ups for the Global Challenge, which will be done within Champions, are going live on 23rd of April, at the very least, you'd expect Champions to be out the week before that. And with that, news of what the upcoming regulation is going to be. So I don't think this is the kind of game that they can just shadow drop, really. Or at least, if you're not in the sort of competitive VGC corner of the internet, then it won't be shadow drop, because there's all sorts of other news that has to come out.
I want to hit a couple more of these super chats. Squirtle Master Kenobi showing up, showing his face, says, "Morning, boys. Hello. Gen 10 do be looking good. Which starter are you picking, and why is it Pon Bon?" We talked about it earlier.
I don't think anyone on here is picking Pon Bon.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think I'm doing Brout and Pon Bon, but we did talk about this earlier, so you can rewind the video to get our full answer. But
it's at the very beginning too. So
we're all Brout, Souls picking Gekwa. That's what it's looking like. That's the forecast. But hope you're doing well. Ace Titanium has been a member for 6 months, and they say the problem with Champions is that due to the fact it's on mobile, it's going to have microtransactions, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll see. There's still a lot we don't know. Legendary.
Just on that point, just very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing is that when it comes to tournaments, there's this question about whether, if I rock up with my Switch 2, would I be able to compete against someone on a phone? How interconnected will they be? Will both be viable for tournaments? Or is the fact that it's on mobile a way to funnel people into getting a Switch, and you'll need a Switch to compete at tournaments? These are all things that we don't know. I think, again, for accessibility, to be able to have full compatibility with mobiles at tournaments as well as as the Switch system would be the ideal. But I can't. This is a similar thing with Unite as well, playing on console as well as on mobile. But I hope that there wouldn't be too many technical issues in trying to make battles happen between a Switch and a mobile. And then when it comes to like the World Championships on stage, would you have to play on a Switch? Even if you turn up to a tournament now with an original Switch, if you're going on stream, you'll be playing on a Switch too, because obviously it just looks much better in Scarlet and Violet. These are all things to be answered, but something worth.
I think the implication is that they would be able to connect to each other, because the very first trailer we had for Champions, the reveal trailer, it showed a woman sitting like outside playing on her phone, and then it switched to her opponent who was playing on his TV on a Switch. So it's like
even in the most recent trailer.
Yeah,
well.
I totally agree with that. That's very clear. It's just whether in official tournaments,
right?
You'd be allowed to do that too.
Yeah, we don't know.
I'm gonna get a bus ticket as soon as this, like on day one launch, just so I can play Champions
on the bus
authentically the way Game Freak intended. I gotta.
When you lose, are you going to go like and then
and everyone's gonna stand
show
up?
your screen to everyone?
Is it gonna be a bus?
Yes, I have to do
Is
it.
it gonna be a bus full of people?
I have to do it. I have to do it. Let's recreate
Very niche point on that element, which is on that bus trailer where everyone shows their phone. They each have a different Pokemon on screen. I think one has a Leafy on the other, a Dragonite.
For real?
There's a little disclaimer at the end that says not all of the Pokemon shown in this trailer will be initially available to use on.
Beautiful.
They're hurting us, dude. My heart.
Who knows which of those? But just for the
I wonder if
trivia fans.
I wonder if Mega Dragonite's going to be in this game.
That is actually confirmed.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't even realize. Legendary Jangles has been a member for 13 months. He says, fully agree with Dusty. I've lost all interest in Champions. I haven't lost all interest. I'm wary. And honestly, VGC2, thanks to the apparent gotchification of it, hope I'm proven wrong. Well, I want to be clear. I'm like confused. I'm confused. I'm dazed and I'm confused. That's what's going on right here. I'm not like hating on it. I want to know more. I'm excited to see what's going to go on with it. Let's hit a couple more of these from earlier today. I thought KG Tiki with the super chat says, I thought I'd struggle waiting for Gen 10. Then I got Pokopia, such a great game, and feels like I can play it forever. That's how I'm feeling. I literally, I'm just,
Same.
I love the mystery of just like, what happened to Kanto? Like, I don't know. I'm so confused.
Feels like that for now, but wait till year 2 comes along.
Yeah, sure. I know we have to wait a whole another year.
I mean, we'll see. Maybe it's not in November.
I know, I'm joking. I'm joking.
And then Tennessee Heath with the super chat. I think this is an inside joke. I have no idea what this is. He says, "Big dog." I'm not sure what that means.
Charlie would get it.
Is this a Charlie ism? What's going on with that?
There's not much to get. That's just something Heath says. But yeah, Heath is someone who will be at my streams, a very fond member of my community. So Heath, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Heath. Hope you stick around. I like this energy in our feed. I love this energy. Let me hit a couple more of these. Jason Borneau saying keep turn based for Champions, anime battles for the main. And I think the anime battles is like, it would still be turn based. It would just have action elements. That's like how I'm imagining it. But yeah, Kotu Nerd said, my gosh, has been a member for 27 months. We need like a leader. We need like a leaderboard, I think, in the Discord, just to keep track. Because some people, I mean, your numbers are getting
well. The
out of
issue
control,
is
guys.
some people like this happened with Sampy. He switched from Patreon to YouTube or vice versa or something at one point.
Yeah.
So
We'll have to get a leaderboard. We'll have to keep track of it. Kotu Nerd says ZA battles need lots of work. Needs to be simplified and based on reaction time more than strats. More simple strats in the world, less turn-based stuff. Yeah, I think Legends ZA it is great for what it is, but like it's not. Again, I'm not advocating for that to be in Gen 10, but I don't know, it's cool. It's fun. ETCG also says, with a big super chat, says turn-based, but with a timer, or that is manipulated negatively by your status conditions, making it harder and more competitive could be really cool. I think what I'm seeing is there's just like so many ways to like twist the base system to be a little bit more dynamic or to just have more variance, which is fun.
Yeah, that's really because turn-based battles have been around forever, and everyone has done every version of it possible and imagine. Now, there's probably other versions that you could create, but it's just, it's been around forever, so there's a million ways to do it. So.
And I think they will, because they have, right? Like adding in abilities, doing the type split thing, like where, types aren't physical or special types. It's now like, diverse with that, adding in, even the gimmicks and stuff there. They definitely show an interest in twisting the turn-based system every generation.
Sky Jordan King says bullet time turn-based like in the BOR presentation. What is that? BOR?
Beast of Reincarnation.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah. I was about to say. I was like, wait.
I gotta rewatch that actually now. Do you have any thoughts on that, Charlie? Do you see that? That's the other Game Freak title. It's for Xbox, I believe.
I haven't seen it. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that game, I'm afraid. No.
Yeah, look it up. There's
It's pretty cool.
It's a Game Freak title. It's Game Freak, but like not on Nintendo.
Yeah, it's Xbox. I think Xbox only, is it? Xbox.
I think so,
and,
maybe.
Steam.
What's it
maybe.
not PlayStation? Oh, or Steam? Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I don't know about PlayStation.
The real
what
What is it?
I was just going to say, what is? Did you say like bullet system or bullet?
I don't even know what that
yeah,
means,
yeah.
but I mean,
I'm not sure.
it's but the game looks like people
Come
throw
on.
around. I don't even know. It looks like every other major game that you see on the
Yeah.
market.
It looks like Ghost of Tsushima a lot, like that kind of vibe. But
It's
yeah.
realistic. It's not
It's very action looking. And
Little Town
very-
Hero.
Very like dark looking versus like Little Town Hero or Pokopia or something.
Yeah, basically
you know?
plants have taken over the world. It's very it's post-apocalyptic. My goodness.
Sounds kind of like Pokopia.
I was like, yeah, Pokopia.
Pokopia. Yeah.
Dude,
It is
could
nothing
Pokopia? Could Pokopia?
Everything like Pokopia.
The way you just said that, Pokopia, post-apocalyptic, like I think that might be where the term Pokopia also derives from. But this is what the game looks like. It's kind of crazy. It's just like so different from. I'm like,
Not
yo.
just Game Freak, by the way. It's a similar Pokopia situation.
Yeah,
Sure.
Game Freak developed it, but they've like outsourced the actual they've outsourced like the actual like build of it. I'm pretty sure.
All right, we got the real Pokegod saying, I believe mainline games should stay turn-based, just needs to be updated as Soul is currently saying. Currently at 10:58. Sorry for the delay. Appreciate the support. All right, we're caught up. This is good.
By
You
the
guys
way,
are
it was
the
PlayStation.
best.
Sorry, it was PlayStation 2, by the way.
It is on
The
PlayStation?
system. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm dumb. It was at the State of Play.
No, you're not dumb. It's all
I
good.
didn't think about it.
You were not dumb. Take it back.
You know, Charlie, I guess I do also want to ask you, and this, I don't think this is a spoiler because this was in the trailer, but it's kind of cool. We have all these new Pokopia Pokemon forms, which I'm starting to look at as like, they're almost like, they're kind of Kanto forms if they show up in Kanto, right? These are forms native to Kanto. They're one of a kind, but whatever. And I
It's like
wouldn't,
a blood moon.
I would not ask you this if we didn't learn something on Pokemon Day, which is that, well, I guess it was when Pokopia came out, but we learned about this new stereo form Rotom, which actually they gave it a new type, electric and normal type. And as far as I can tell right now, playing Pokopia, the types are irrelevant. I don't think the types really do anything. And this is starting to make me wonder if at the very minimum, Stereo Rotom could be playable in Champions at some point or in some of these other games. But then also all of these other forms that we have access to, right? Like this mossy form Snorlax in Pokopia, it's named Mosslax, but that's like a nickname. Do you see these Pokopia forms coming to Champions or any other Pokemon game?
I mean, I didn't, but the fact that they are including these typings is really interesting. I mean, why would it, especially if types do nothing in Pokopia, why would they include that? Also, that we were actually talking about this on my stream yesterday, this stereo Rotom, and someone saying, oh, sound type confirmed, which... You know, maybe at some point, but the fact that it's, I don't know, it just feels increasingly tenuous, doesn't it? That they have to make anything that doesn't really quite fit into any of the other Pokemon types normal, in this case, sound for Rotom stereo. Yeah, so, I mean, maybe these characters, you know, as Pokopia is out there, and I keep wanting to say Pokopia, or just pronounce it in any
My
way
wife
else.
says Pokopia, so it's all good.
Yeah.
We say Pokopia in this house.
The longer Pokopia is out there and the more potentially beloved these characters come, like the Mossy Snorlax and like the Stereo Rotom. And maybe it will just be a nice homage in Winds and Waves. Maybe they'll pop up at some point, and then you can play with them on the team. The entire linchpin for this is again the fact that we've got these types here. That's really interesting. Do we? Because there's also Pikachu, right? The pale. Pikachu, does that have a different?
The only
type?
one that changes type is the Rotom.
Okay.
Which is why a lot of people think, like, because Rotom has a whole gimmick now where it enters a new appliance, and, there's Rotom Wash, Rotom Fan, and it'll be electric flying. It'll get a certain move, like electric flying fan gets air slash. So a lot of people are thinking it's electric normal Rotom. It's going to get Boom Burst. And Dusty, you were the one who pointed this out. I thought this was really good. It also has that plasma around it, which, you might overlook. But Rotom is a Pokemon that's gotten really a lot of forms over the years. We have a Rotom Dex, we have a Rotom Foam, we have a Rotom Drone, we have a Rotom, like the weird little thing that sits on the PC in Sword and Shield. I'm not even sure what that is. but
There's
none
anyone
of
in
them have
Champions
the
even.
plasma around them, except for the stereo Rotom and the
and the other
Rotom
forms.
So it makes you wonder: is it like is
And it
this
got a new type.
true Rotom form? Yeah, and the new type. Combine this
yeah.
with the electric normal thing. Is this a new Rotom form? Like this is no different than Mo Wash.
I think
Heat.
so. Yeah,
I have
totally
no
think
so
so.
as
doubt.
well.
I have no doubt. There's no wondering for me at all. I think this is, if none of the other forms come to Champions or Gen 10, I think it's specifically mostly for Champions at this point rather than Gen 10, but I could be wrong there. I think this one singular form at least is the one that's coming out of Pokopia.
Yeah.
I do also think the other ones can too. There's definitely a case for it because as Dusty pointed out, it's really interesting when you look at their Pokedex entries in Pokopia. They have a name. They were introduced to us as with names, but in their Dex entries, they're just Snorlax, and then it says Mossy underneath. And so I think that is like meant to be Snorlax
form.
Mossy form, you know. So like I think these are all
Pikachu pale
unique.
form.
Yeah, Pikachu pale form was really weird because I was like, why is it pale? But it is pale. I just thought it was funny. But I kind of lost my train of thought. Dang it.
Yeah. I just think it's worth
I think
noticing that these are proper forms. And then
I just think they're unique forms, like the Dunsparce 3-segment form, or Mousehold family of 3
or
form.
Blood Moon.
They don't do anything.
Ursaluna.
I know, but I don't think that. I mean, maybe they get stat changes as well, but I think they could just be a cosmetic change, and the only one that could have implications of a bigger change is the Rotom one because it's the only one that has a type change. Which is that would be a proper Rotom form change.
It is interesting. I mean, given what we know about Kanto and Pokopia, something over the years, if time has passed, or maybe it's a parallel universe, I don't know, but if time has passed, then it's just the way the environment has affected certain Pokemon, I suppose. That's very also Electric Normal is, I mean, a great type because all of the Rotom forms have Levitate as the ability. So you're removing all you're weak to is fighting with the Rotom stereo.
Yeah, I think the opportunity, or kind of what, it's all still speculative, but I try to remind myself that this Pokopia is a Game Freak game. Game Freak is behind the wheels, doing what they do best, which is character creation. And now that I actually have my hands on Pokopia, it does not feel shallow. I'm having a blast with it. You know, who knows how long it lasts, but like currently this is the Switch 2 Pokemon game for this year, seemingly. And so I guess the opportunity is just like any of these other games where there's constant, right? There's a lot of comparison between Pokopia and Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing gets like seasonal updates. Things get patched or added to the game, new characters. And I'm kind of looking at it like, yes, all of these, I guess what I'm wondering is like all of these new Pokemon forms, if they are true forms and maybe they're brought into Champions or into Gen 10 at some point. I'm going to focus on Champions because I think what I'm trying to say is like, we typically only care about mainline games because they will add new Pokemon into the game, and then you can eventually, bring them into whatever the, mainline game is, and then battle with them. But if Champions is a constant living game where things can get patched into that game, where then they can be eligible for whatever the competition is, and Pokopia is also a living game where it's like, let's say every couple months, there's a new season. Someone in the chat said this, can we get a Snowman Snorlax? Maybe I'm like around yes,
Snorlax. Oh my gosh.
around Christmas.
No, it's a thing.
I know it's from
Snorlax.
it's from the anime. And what I'm saying is like,
Oh.
could something like that be patched into Pokopia where all of a sudden there's a new form of Snorlax that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's kind of fun. Like this is another form of a living game where they can continue to add new characters, which then get brought into Champions. We're seeing with Fire Red and Leaf Green, people are able to play that, get some of these mythical legendary Pokemon. Ideally, they can bring those into home and then play with them in Champions. They could drop the Hoenn ports, bring those into home, put those into Champions. Like, I think the promise of Champions is that if you have all these games that connect to home, that you can battle with those Pokemon in Champions. And I guess I do like this idea. It's like I want to be. I kind of do want to be drip fed some Pokemon over time. That's fun. When we get new Pokemon, it's so much fun because it's like it's like the lifeblood of like our fandom of, it's like, yeah, it's a new character. It's great, and I like the idea of Pokopia potentially being part of this mix because it's a really charming game. It's nice.
I don't
know if you have any thoughts on that.
I'll be sold once they drop like a whole new Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's what I
you want like true samurai, like
I want a whole new Pokemon.
Yeah, samurai, or or I'm thinking Sensei Ultra Necrozma in Pokopia.
No, I mean that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
That would be your ideal.
That would definitely do it for me. But
Stereo
I want a whole
Rotom,
new
that
Pokemon.
feels like a new Pokemon to me.
It does.
It's just because I'm interested in the like
Yeah, but I'm
competitive
just saying
side of
it's
things. But I'm like, it functions different. Like if
it's a new
hypothetically it
type.
were usable,
Of course.
it functioned different. It, honestly, I mean, stats would be a big impact here. But like Charlie was saying, Electric Normal's not a bad typing at all.
Yeah,
I could, and if it gets Boom Burst, I could really see Rotom Stereo being like a pretty good mon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just thinking about that. Any thoughts on that, Charlie?
Yeah, that would be really exciting. I can definitely see them doing that, especially given that Pokopia at the moment seems to be based on Kanto. I mean, the mind boggles as to where it could go. Do I think that they'll, introduce each of the regions to just this one game? So, I mean, maybe, but more likely they will just release, another Pokopia game that's based on other regions. But I think, certainly, given that it seems like Pokopia is the game that we're getting in 2026, it would be a good way to introduce new characters to the franchise and keep things ticking over, especially in the 30th anniversary, to drip feed new Pokemon in and then would build the hype to then transfer over to Winds and Waves Pokémon Champions. That would be really cool, and I will just get ever more frustrated that I'm not playing the game. So maybe at some point, it'll actually make me get the game.
Yeah.
But that also raises the question of like how that would even work, because it's like you don't catch the Pokemon, but maybe it's like once you register it to the Dex, then maybe it shows up in home. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, we've seen before where they do like crossover, like save data stuff, right? Like in Legends Arceus, if you have save data for Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, you access this side quest that ultimately gives you Darkrai, right? So it could just be like, Champions reads that you have save data for Pokemon Pokopia. So here's a Moslax, a Greedent, all this Pokemon that have these special forms, and then also here's a Rotom and the Rotom catalog item, so you can change its form. And one of these new forms is Stereo, and it's cross promotion, right? Like it promotes people maybe playing Pokopia who were like, "Oh, I love DJ Rotom," to go, "Oh, I get to use DJ Rotom. I'll play Champions." But then likewise on Champions, the promise of, "Hey, you can get exclusive forms if you buy our game."
Yeah.
They're going to buy Pokopia.
I think another interesting thing is that, obviously, to take Gen 9 as an example, we got Wooper and Paldea, it's Paldea and Wooper. But with Pikachu and with Moslax in Pokopia, which seems to be set in Kanto, we've never had that before, where we've got regional variants in the same region where those Pokemon were introduced.
Yeah.
So it opens up a whole new realm of potential variants that aren't regional. Just sort of, I don't know, temporal variants almost, if this seems like a Kanto from a later time period. But then, for example, we've got Smeargle in here as well, which obviously isn't a native Kanto Pokemon, but it's also not Cantonian Smeargle, because then it doesn't fit in the same bracket as Pikachu and Moslax and so on. So
That's why I think about them like Blood Moon forms, where it's like
or cosplay Pikachu.
They could end up being that. They could.
Yeah, but it's less of a regional form as like it's less of a species change that any Pokemon could then adapt to becoming, and it's more of a specific Pikachu underwent a change over time, which caused this cosmetic change. This type of this form. So it's a form change specific. It's like Eternal Flower Floette. It's specific to that one character, right? AZ's Floette became what we know as AZ's Floette, as Eternal Flower Floette.
You were right to say Blood Moon Ursaluna, because Floette, actually, it's implied that just Floette used to look like that.
Oh,
that
sure,
used to be
okay.
a form of Floette that existed.
Okay.
And this one's just still alive.
Okay.
But Blood Moon Ursaluna, cosplay Pikachu, spiky-eared Pichu, like these are all they've done this kind of stuff before, where it's like it's just one-off This is not a Jotonian Pichu. It's just a spiky-eared Pichu.
I like it. Different. It's like the blue-eyed Pikachu.
I love it.
The blue-eyed Pikachu in the anime, the one that could surf.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of
the one that could surf.
I don't know if this is out of your realm of enjoyment, Charlie. We're just like baselessly speculating, but I guess what I
like literally
why I think it's like cool is like I'm like, okay, well, if there's a competitive circuit, yes, it could, by introducing and slow dripping these Pokemon into champions to slowly adapt and alter the metagame over multiple years. Like, yes, that is great, but they could also, with these other games, through Pokopia, slowly add new Pokemon that might not make a massive change, but it is like, it's a new thing for the fandom. It's a new thing for the competitive scene. Obviously, when Gen 10 comes out, we're going to get a whole batch of new Pokemon, et cetera, et cetera. New legendaries, DLC will also do that. But then I also think, I'm like, could we see, I guess with this, because Champions is this hub, Champions and Home is like this hub where any Pokemon game could funnel through those games. I guess what I'd like to think about is like, if we get another mystery dungeon game and there's any sort of Game Freak involvement, and there's, for example, another Primal Dialga situation where there is a new form of a Pokemon, could that actually be a little bit more canon, and could it be brought into the fold of like what we understand, a Pokemon form as? That's exciting.
Yeah, and I think it, as could well be the case with other Pokemon games before, and I think we've seen is Pokopia is sort of laying the groundwork for then themes that will emerge and be more fully developed in Winds and Waves, potentially. Who knows? Maybe some areas of the region will be a Hoenn from days gone by. It's the way Pokemon is able to cross-pollinate with each of their ideas is really fascinating. And also, you said, maybe this is out of my realm of interest, but fundamentally I just enjoy Pokemon.
Sure,
Whereas I am a competitive VGC caster and host and so on, fundamentally, obviously, my start to the games, like with anyone else, was just enjoying playing those retro games. And like I said earlier on, I'm playing through Pokemon Blue right now, trying to complete the Pokedex in my childhood copy, because I've never done that, and I think that'd be really cool. I'll be doing that with each of the generations, and just shiny Pokemon fascinate me because they've been lurking in these cartridges for years and they've gone undiscovered, and it adds a whole new layer to these games that we already love so much, and it's just a very cozy activity. So, I mean, my interest in Pokemon is very broad because Pokemon itself is very broad. It enables all these facets of interest because it speaks on so many levels.
Yeah, for sure. I guess, I mean, Lumi, is there anything that we have not covered in terms of champs?
It's hard to say because, all the information being scattered across the place. Yeah. But I guess just, I do want to end on the hopeful note of if you go and watch, it's really hard to find, but if you go and watch that 1-minute trailer that was posted on the Japanese YouTube channel, and also the, if you want to see the English version, the Pokemon Asia English channel, there's this 1-minute clip. Really, it's honestly not even a trailer but a clip. I think a lot of people have speculated that it might even be just the opening scene of Champions, like when you pull up the game. This will be the first scene that plays, but it kind of shows the world of Champions. So it shows like Pokemon, the park and stuff. It focuses on the battle arena being the central building. Like Charlie said, there's a Victini in front of it, and there's other buildings where there is like a Milotic sitting on top of one. And there's others. That's just the first one I remember. And so it kind of just has me hopeful that the name of the city being Frontier, it makes me hopeful that, purely speculation here, but maybe we'll get maybe this game will kind of serve as a battle frontier, and that the battle arena is but one facility.
And that would be great. That would be a lot of fun, because honestly, I don't have a lot of interest in battling. I mean, I have interest in battling my friends, but in terms of ranked, not interested in that, to be honest with you.
Sure.
So a battle, some sort of like campaign, a battle frontier, or just, facility would be a lot of fun, I think.
I'll share another little nugget from Champions. This is actually a reveal that we had a little while ago, but I think maybe people don't appreciate the importance, the significance of what this is. When there's a visual of a Gardevoir versus a Hydreigon, I think, and because the God of War is your own, you know what its HP stat is. I think on the little bar it says 175. The Hydreigon, in other words, your opponent, as a percentage next to its HP. Now, currently in Scarlet and Violet, if you land an attack into an opposing Pokemon, all you have is that bar, and it empties and fills as necessary. And so you look at that bar and you think, oh, was that closer to a third or was it closer to a quarter? What was that? Therefore, do I go for this move or this move? Which move is going to claim the knockout here? Whereas with Champions, seeing that it's a percentage, you can see exactly, oh, that Pokemon has 33% left. I know, therefore, that this move is going to get the KO. It comes in those moments where it's like those damage roll moments, because each move does within a certain realm of damage. Just to
there's a little bit of RNG. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. You have more... It's more like... more of an element of a damage calculator actually being presented to you on the screen. And so, if I go for this move, actually I'm much more likely to knock this Pokemon out, and I only know that because there's a percentage next to the bar. So there's all sorts of quality of life things like that.
Less guesswork.
Indeed. Indeed.
What I like about that is that it separates, like that is something that makes sense for a battle simulator versus within the actual RPG adventure of a mainline game. Like, I think the only point I'm really trying to make is that, like, when I'm on my adventure, I don't want to be doing battle calcs in my brain. Like, I don't care about that. I don't want to play a chess match just to knock out an opposing trainer who challenged me in a battle. I don't want to do that. I want to keep the flow of my adventure going, especially like in this open world game. There can be strategy, but like I just want them to be two separate experiences.
So I think at the end of the day, that's picking up on something that I was kind of alluding to just now. If you really get into the weeds of competitive Pokemon, you boil it down, it's glorified maths, really.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's not fun for a lot of people. That's fun for a lot of people. Yeah. But like,
no, that's
not why I love Pokemon.
It is, this Incineroar, for example, is just a front for a wall of stats. And this attack attached to this Pokemon. All that matters to a lot of people in competitive spaces is this going to remove that opposing pixel art thing from my screen. And that is something it's fascinating, the complexities of competitive Pokemon. And I did a whole documentary about my time commentating the International Championships last year. It's fascinating, but also, like I said, I just love Pokemon as it is. And so I don't like almost to reduce Pokemon down to maths. No one likes to be reminded that Pokemon are just these pixels on a screen. We all like to believe Pokemon is that they are these living and breathing things, and they are our friends. So I think, it's cool what Champions is doing. It's obviously very cool what competitive is doing, but get too into the weeds of it, and you kind of strip that heart and soul out of Pokemon, which is the whole reason we got into it in the first place. So, it's like a 5-a-day thing. You need all your major food groups to be healthy, and I think it's the same with Pokemon. We can't lose sight of what got us into Pokemon in the first place.
Dude, I love that so much. That's literally that. Yeah, that is the heart and soul of Pokemon. We got to maintain that, and I totally, What a great statement. I love that.
I think battling's a part of that, though. I think battling is a part of that. Yeah. And I don't think getting rid of that is
any franchise. If you look at Disney, the Mickey Mouse, whatever, they are just cartoons. Someone drew them. We all know they're not real. And obviously, I wouldn't be a commentator. I didn't enjoy how the battles work, but it's just like the fact that there are so many ways and facets to enjoy Pokemon. They're all, whether it's shiny hunting or whatever, it all just boils down to maths and, the computer chip inside your game.
But it's the application as well.
Stop it. You're breaking my reality.
Exactly, yeah. I guess there's with competitive Pokemon, you have these entire events that are dedicated to those battles. The World Championships in these arenas that are dedicated to how the maths works, basically. It's a big celebration of that. And so sometimes when you're commentating these events, it's like, oh, but hang on. Let's just remind ourselves that these are just fun characters at the end of the day. It's, I guess, when you're commentating, when you're competing, nowhere is it more evident.
Yeah.
When you strip Pokemon back that, we could lose that heart and soul, so let's make sure that we don't.
For sure.
Right.
Let's hit some of these super chats. Squirtle Master Kenobi saying, since Champions is VGC platform, no Gen 10 plus can probably play with the battle style. I'd like for us to get a battle style like ZA, but you play on the Pokemon. You play as the Pokemon, not the trainer, and have a dodge button. That's kind of cool. I've had this conversation with some other friends who play like a lot of fighting games, and they've actually pointed out to me that like in practice, you actually wouldn't want in a mainline game every Pokemon battle to play like a fighting game, because like
That'd be intense.
It'd be so intense. You'd be sweating after, again, every match, like, because it's definitely too intense. But I do like the idea of little things like a dodge button being applied to the turn-based system. We see the example that was shown to me was like in like Paper Mario. You could just jump to dodge or whatever, or like you press A at the right time to get like a bonus, to get the critical hit, essentially. Like there's certain applications that would enhance the experience. But thank you, Squirtle Master.
You just don't want to
Kenobi.
get to a point where like you and I are battling and it's like you use a move, I hit the button at the right time, dodge. Now I use a move, you hit the button at the right time, dodge. You know, and the match goes on to timer and no one's landed a hit. Kind of like Charlie and rotation battles, you know?
Yeah. I think that also raises a question about like, at least when you're the trainer controlling the Pokemon, there's a remove. Whereas if you're playing as the Pokemon, you are physically doing that damage to something else on the screen, which probably in the eyes of, again, I'm speculating here, but probably in the eyes of Pokemon, they prefer keeping that removed just to, that means it puts a filter on the violence as well.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I interpreted it like your main, it's like they're Pokemon games, you are the trainer. And so if they make you the Pokemon, that has to be like a temporary thing. Like we see it with the Synchro Machine or maybe a couple scenes and like Let's Go. But like in a Pokemon game, you are the trainer. You are the human character wielding the wielding the Pokemon. So that's what that removal is. It's like staying faithful to like, what the essence of these games are in this world. Tennessee Heath coming in. Dude, I love seeing Tennessee Heath here. But for real, Charlie got to hit the come on. Did I do that right?
Right.
Dusty did it.
Basically, I did this video for Pokemon's 30th where I asked a bunch of creators as well as just fans of Pokemon to record clips of them saying why they love Pokemon, and that's also on my channel.
Lumi, you were in that, right?
Yeah,
Lumi was a part of it.
Lumi's in that.
I asked Dusty and Sol, but unfortunately, they were. I understand.
It
was a very busy month, a very busy time.
I feel so bad about that. I really tried to do it.
What was really cool was that we had, creators like M&J TV, besides people like Heath who are just fans of the franchise. But a little joke that I ended up including in the finished cut was Heath did the thing where he slapped his bicep and says, "Come on!" And I use that as like a celebration of Pokemon. But yeah, that's just something that's special to him. We had some people sharing amazing stories. Like there was this guy Hotline who was talking about how he it was during COVID when his first child was born, and so he couldn't be in the hospital room with his wife, and so to entertain himself just waiting in the car park for hours on end, he played Crystal on his 3DS virtual console. So he was just there ready to pounce in whenever he was needed and things like that. And absolute blogs, we got Austin John Plays and all sorts. It's it was a really fun project, and was really grateful for the support.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Beautiful video.
Before we, go check out Charlie. I think I don't know if the go check out Charlie. I was gonna say I don't know if actually your link is in the description right now, but it will be after this episode. But go check out Charlie. He's on.
Drop a link in chat.
Please, he's over on YouTube. And if I didn't say this, he has a podcast. So if you like Pokemon podcasts, he literally releases.
This is
one
how
all the
we
time.
met.
We've all been on it.
Exactly. About a year ago, Dusty messaged saying, "You do a Pokemon podcast, we do a Pokemon podcast. No one does podcasts, so let's do something."
Yeah.
And so Jazinga Chats is talking to people about their life stories as well as the 6 Pokemon they choose for their dream team. So we get to know the person behind the Pokemon a little bit. And Dusty and Sol and Lumi, they've all been on the podcast. But frankly, I'm just like with YouTube now. I'm just making the videos I enjoy and throwing paint at the wall. So there's the podcast. But I also did that documentary about UIC. I'm doing this quest on stream where I'm playing through each of the Pokemon generations. I'm making a video about that too. I'm doing a Dream Team quest in my childhood copy of Pokemon Silver, which is my favorite game of all time, where I have 6 hand-chosen shiny targets that I'll be shiny hunting, and then making a video about each of those as well. In fact, it's interesting when we talk about Heart and Soul, because coming into this year, I was like, I want to do more scripted content. I want to engage more with the Heart and Soul content, because that's what I enjoy. I got into YouTube because I enjoy writing, fundamentally. So there's going to be a lot more of that. And it's
nice.
If anything, competitive content is in the minority on my channel. So it's just a big old love letter to the Pokemon video game. So do come and check it out. And I had some fun guests on the podcast and far more besides. We're in season 2 of the podcast right now.
Love that.
It'd be great to
very, very nice.
along.
I did see that you started you're in season 2, and I was thinking, I'm like, man, when does Hidden Power season 2 start.
Yeah,
Like
basically,
we're like One
initially
Piece
the
over
chat
here.
room-
4 years of season 1. Yeah.
Initially, the podcast was weekly, but then I realized I need to give myself more bandwidth to actually write some scripts and do some other kinds of content. So I'll start doing seasons instead.
No, I like
so
that.
yeah, we've got actually approaching episode 100. That will be in mid-May. Can't believe it's
dude.
already that many, but that will be with
Nice,
Brian
man.
David Gilbert, which is
Love that.
exciting.
I love that.
Recorded with him already. We had a very fun chat.
Shiny Meta Master with another super chat says, I feel the ZA battle system was a spam fest rather than live action. I feel like you need to fully control the Pokemon rather than the trainer and be able to actually dodge, like a Super Smash type feel. I think we kind of just talked about that a little bit. But yeah, thank you, Shiny Meta Master, for the super chat.
Maybe the next Legends game.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. It's funny because I hear people who do play fighting games and they enjoyed ZA because it's like
That makes sense.
they're accustomed to the the speed at which you need to like think and command and everything, and I don't know. I guess it's probably not the best solution for Gen 10, but I think that does have some merits. I do want to say we got shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.merch. No, not .merch. No, just shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. We have merch. Links are in the description. This is our anniversary collection. Tons of awesome designs. Bestseller right now is Aurora Beam. I got a bunch of friends
It's beautiful.
sending me pictures of them in their new t-shirt. Hoops and Hip Hop just got one.
Great color. I got to say that.
Thank you, man.
Color is wonderful. And also, I just want to shout out. I've even got my Unknown C in the background for you all today.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Hey,
Unknown
thank you.
C.
I love that. I love that so much. You know what? Yeah, I have a sitting cutie of an unknown H, but I should get some different letters. But yeah,
P?
yeah, maybe.
HP?
There's a bunch. Yeah,
To be honest,
start with
the
the P.
Unknown Sitting Cuties is probably their own sort of source of income for Pokemon. You could get the letter T
Oh, yeah.
our podcast.
For real.
Yeah, I mean, what? So Rosemary Kelly Necra, who's another Pokemon caster for VGC, has unknown spelling Necra behind her. But I mean, sure, there are only 6 letters in that. If I got Jazingdra, then it's just
Dude, yeah.
There's premium on the letters in our online names.
At that
And then
point, you
get
might as well just buy
Jazingdra
Pokopia.
chats as well.
Yeah.
And then
You have to double up a little bit. Oh my god. Soul Ants with the super chat just said, I've been in Oak's lab for 100+ hours for shiny Charmander. Help me.
No.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Also-
rough, man.
Also,
You got this.
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire or Ruby and Sapphire first Gen 3 playthrough. Which one should I do? I think Ruby and Sapphire holds up. I really do.
I think Alpha Sapphire.
I think Alpha
It's a bit
Sapphire.
more nuanced. It's a ton of fun.
It's so
first
good.
time.
But I feel like it's like if you play the originals first, then when you go back to play Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you'll be able to appreciate both, like as like
can
the
see
base
that.
experience, and then you're also enjoying the second playthrough because it's like an enhanced
I
experience.
agree.
But just
That's
to
what I
be
think.
clear on this, don't do Ruby or Omega Ruby. It's Sapphire or Alpha Sapphire all the way.
Sure. Okay.
I
All
would agree
right.
with that. I agree with that.
Yeah. Emerald and then Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah, why isn't Emerald in the running? Because honestly, that would be a solid pick as well.
Yeah. Emerald's really good. It has a lot of enhancements. Dude, I gotta just finish a playthrough. I want to play Fire Red and Leaf. I want to play my Leaf Green save file. But I've been playing Pokopia. Oh my
Makes
gosh.
sense.
All right.
Same.
Charlie, thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate everyone who supported the stream, supported the
Very
podcast.
much so.
If you want more Charlie content, his link will be in the description. You can check him out, Charlie Merriman or Chazingdra chats, or just Chazingdra, depending on the platform. And also, we have more content with Charlie in our archive right here on the on YouTube or wherever you listen to these podcasts. So go check that out. And Charlie,
We also went on there.
yeah, that's true. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Check out the collaboration. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for having me. It's always just a joy to get back and talk Pokemon with you. And the last time we did, I think it was pre-recorded, but it's so nice to be live with you all.
Yeah.
Just hang out with the community, and I hope we get to do it again soon. And thank you for having me. And yeah, you're all great. You can
It
discover
is
why
so
then,
good.
right?
I was
By
gonna ask
watching
you, like,
the Chats episodes with them.
when's your next casting?
Yeah, so Can't talk about upcoming tournaments, unfortunately.
Okay,
but,
Anything public?
Also, that's a good point. See me over on the official Pokemon channel, casting, regionals, and so on that are coming up. And you'll probably see some of my Pokemon one-liners that I do there as well. That's sort of become my USP, so to speak, brainstorming terrible Pokemon dad jokes and puns.
Oh, no, they are good. They hit so good, dude. They hit so good.
I'm glad you enjoyed them. I was like, the most recent ones I did at the Birmingham Regional Championships in January on Instagram, that's got more than 50k views now.
Oh, dude.
If anything,
Well
I feel
deserved.
like that was not my finest work, but I'm so pleased that they've been striking a chord with people.
That's your legacy, man.
Love them. People love them.
Yeah, but it's always a pleasure. I really appreciate you having me. And, Champions will be out soon, and then there'll be a whole lot more news to digest. And, but either way, just...
And maybe we can have you back on after Champions actually comes out. I think that'd be pretty nice. We should do this more often, man. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone for watching. Enjoy your Thursday, and we'll talk to you soon. We got some more streams planned. Coming up, more guests. We love you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.